You cannot. Okay.
Holy Spirit,
They better do it, Lord.
Holy Spirit,
You better get them, Lord.
Holy Spirit,
Before I get them, Lord.
activate.
Hey.
Activate. Let's go. Holy Spirit, activate.
Oh no.
Holy Spirit, activate.
Okay.
Holy Spirit, activate.
Okay.
Activate.
Hey, hey,
Activate. Let's go.
they say I ain't saved cause I cuss a little bit. But you're the only judge that I need and that's it. They always in my business cause they say I backslid. They read the Holy Bible but they ain't applying it. So Holy Spirit activate. If you do it right now, that would be great. I ain't trying to smack this chick in the face. Don't you see me down here trying to change my way. So
Holy Spirit,
you
activate.
better do it, Lord.
Holy Spirit,
You better get them, Lord.
Holy Spirit,
Before I get them, Lord.
activate.
Hey, hey, hey.
You cannot.
Hold
Okay.
Holy Spirit,
They
activate.
better do it, Lord.
Holy Spirit,
You
activate.
better get them, Lord.
Holy Spirit, activate.
Before I get them, Lord.
Activate.
Hey.
Activate. Let's go. Holy Spirit, activate.
Oh no.
Holy Spirit, activate.
Okay.
Holy Spirit, activate.
Okay.
Activate.
Hey, hey,
Activate. Let's go.
they say I ain't saved cause I cuss a little bit. But you're the only judge that I need and that's it. They always in my business cause they say I backslid. They read the Holy Bible but they ain't applying it. So Holy Spirit activate. If you do it right now, that would be great. I ain't trying to smack this chick in the face. Don't you see me down here trying to change my way. So
Holy Spirit,
you
activate.
better do it, Lord.
Holy Spirit,
You better get them, Lord.
Holy Spirit,
Before I get them, Lord.
activate.
Hi, can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear? Okay, it seems to be moving. Okay, you guys can hear me. You guys can hear me, right? Put a 1 in the chat if you could hear me. I want to make sure because I have this microphone plugged up because I've been testing stuff all day. So I want to make sure y'all can hear me loud and clear. Okay. I don't feel the best. I don't feel the best. I think my daughter got me sick. But whatever. I am here and I am queer. Okay. Publicly queer. Here, flip. So I love you all. Welcome back to the Shine Every Way Show. I see a lot of ones in the chat. Thank you. I love you all. Thank you for the super sticker. I'm sorry it disappeared. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me see if I can find it. I'm sorry. I'll be feeling so bad. Oh, there we go. Boom. Shout out to Gilberta for the super sticker. Thank you so much. Shout out to Sherry Shine for becoming a member. Welcome, 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 welcome. So I love you guys. I love you all. Ladies, gentlemen, love you, love you, love you, love you. Welcome to my show. Please hit the like. Please hit the like, please, 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 please. I would appreciate that. Do I, Melanie, moderator? Do I sound like I feel like I do. I feel like I do sound like that. I was like stuffed up all night. I drank some tea before I went to bed. I drank some tea this morning. Right now I'm drinking some coffee because I have kids. Absolutely. So, and it's warm. So it feels good. So I'm drinking a little coffee right now. I'm going to drink some tea after, everyone, and some water, okay? So I can already hear my subscribers like, drink some tea, Sean. Drink some water, Sean. Get some rest, Sean. Do I sound like I just sound nasally? Oh, I sound nasally gross. DL Gordon, you didn't have to tell me that. You could have left that on the inside. So, yays. Oh, Lord, Lizzie Mack talking about some you sound bunged up. Yeah, just a little piece. But I got some vapor rub right here, and all that good stuff. So, absolutely. So, shout out to all of you guys. I love you all. Thank you for joining me. Happy Sunday. Yeah, we're on Sunday. Love you, love you, love you. Thank you again for joining me. So we're going to get into a Shanquella update as we always start these shows. Justice for Shanquella and the Robinson family. There's been some stuff that has... I'm going to need y'all to leave me alone. Just let me have a little cold. I don't have to be here. My husband has 2 jobs. I don't have to be here. Do y'all want me to go lay down and drink some tea? Do y'all want me to go lay down? Because I can. Okay? I can go lay down and get some rest. All right? Hit the like button. Oh, Lord, they talking about third flu. Everybody. Y'all, it's all right. I'm a little piece of sick. It's okay. I'm gonna be okay. Thank y'all. Y'all are so sweet. But I'm gonna be all right. Look at her. She said, "You sound fine." Thank you. Thank you. I'm all right. I promise. Just a little head, feet cold, here flip. Okay. Y'all talking about no, give us the tea first. No, because that's gonna take a while. So we're gonna get into the update first of Shanquella. So we're gonna get into Shanquella, and then we're going to get into this stuff that's going on with Tasha K, Reid, LaVontae, and then some. So the Shanquella update is not a long update. It's a shorter one, just because, again, I like to focus on the facts. I like to focus on the stuff that matters. Now, there was recently a Facebook post that is going around, and it's allegedly from Shanquella Robinson, which is Shanquella Robinson's mother. And in this Facebook post that was put up by Salamandra, it is alleging that the FBI is on their way to get and apprehend the Cabo Six, which would be Nazir, Winter, Khalil, Elise, and Dejanay. Did I say Nazir? Okay. So the post went pretty much like viral. It's been everywhere. At first, people were speculating if it was even Salamandra, but from what we gather, it was a post from her. So we don't know exactly what news that she has gotten from the FBI, because Salamandra has not come public with it yet. Okay. She has not. So with that being said, I'm going to jump into tangible. Like I said, I pray that the FBI did get in contact with Salamandra and that something is going on. I would really hope so. So let's get into this clip. This is WCNC. This is from in North Carolina, Charlotte to be exact. So let's listen to this really quickly. Let me know if you guys can't hear. I'm sure you will be able to, though, but let me know if you can't.
Some new details tonight, though, on the Mexican investigation into the death of a 25-year-old Charlotte woman while in Cabo.
Mexico prosecutors discussed their investigation into Shanquella Robinson's case during a recent news conference. Robinson went missing while vacationing in Mexico with a group of friends. She was later found dead, suffering a broken neck and a severe spinal cord injury. The state prosecutor from Baja California Sur says the investigation is ongoing and that he's looking to extradite an unnamed suspect to the United States. He says Mexican authorities are also investigating others who may have been involved beyond the single suspect.
There is no impunity.
Now, this man, the Hoya, Rosa, I honestly, I believe things that he say, but I don't. Okay. Absolutely. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? It's a lot goings of the own. It's a lot goings of the own. But I believe partial of things what he said. Again, he was over there with Sarachala. I feel like it was a body double. I don't feel like that was really him, but whatever. If you guys want to go and check that out, you can type in Sarachala on YouTube and you should be able to find Zuniga. So he went over there and sat over there. And again, it's just too much going on. It absolutely is. But before we finish listening to this, let's just get into the article first. I guess I should have just read it first, and then we can dive back into that. So the investigation into a Charlotte woman's death in Mexico is ongoing, and prosecutors say they are aiming to extradite a suspect to the country. During a media conference held by Baja California Sur, Attorney General's office, Daniel de la Rosa Anaya, the state attorney general was asked to comment on the investigation surrounding Shanquella Robinson's death in October 2022 in the state. De La Rosa Anaya said they are investigating this as a femicide and they are focused on locating an unnamed suspect. The Attorney General says they have worked with Interpol to put out a red notice, which is an advisory to law enforcement across the globe to be on the lookout for a suspect. There is no impunity in this case, said De La Rosa Anaya. Right now, it is important to obtain, above all, the judicial order of the presumed person responsible for these unfortunate events. De La Rosa Anaya says they will work to extradite the suspect to Mexico once they are located. Okay, now Dejanay is missing once again. No one knows where they are, although Sarachalai said on his site that they were all given subpoenas. Sarachalai said on his lying website that in Charlotte, North Carolina, the police there issued all of the Cabo 6 subpoenas, okay, to come to court. Okay, now if we knew where they were, if the federal agents knew where they were, or FBI, and whatnot, if they knew where they were, then why? That's what I'm saying. He's a liar. This is why I can't listen to anything that Metropala, Sarachala, Guadalajara. I don't listen to anything that he says, because he is a complete, total, and utter liar. He lies about everything. I don't believe it. He could tell me that it's not raining outside and it cannot be raining, and I still wouldn't believe him. That's how bad of a liar he is. So I can't stand behind anything that he says. So even with him bringing La Rosa, even with him bringing him on there, I still don't believe anything he's saying. Even with La Rosa Anaya sitting here talking, I still don't believe anything that they are saying. I don't think that they're taking the Shanquella case seriously. I think that now it's just a shift of blame. When America blames Mexico, Mexico blames America, and vice versa. So I just feel like it's a total utter mess. And Mexico super dropped the ball when it came to the situation with Shanquella. Another thing that I don't understand why La Rosa Anaya is sitting over here saying, because the doctor, do I still have her picture? Boom. This doctor is supposed to be under investigation as well. She can be named because she was there. And with her being named and with her being there, why? Because they won't say Dejanay's name. As you see, an unnamed suspect is the most they're willing to say when it comes to this warrant for extradition that Mexico has put through Interpol with America to apprehend the direct aggressor, which would be Dejanay. So they still don't say her name. They still say unnamed, but obviously we know it's Dejanay. This doctor, we all know her name. We all know that she was there, and whatnot. One of the Cabo 6 stated that she was there. She states that she was there. She stated that one of the Cabo 6 allegedly assisted with CPR and whatnot. So we know all of those things are true. We know that. Why is she not being named? Why is nothing being said about her, the Cabo 7th, the doctor, the one that has been fired from her job, as in more than one? Cabo Villas got rid of her, and so did the medical center in Cabo San Lucas. They got rid of her as well. So she is no longer an employee, and that's not for nothing. That is for a reason, and it's connected to the Shanquella case with her negligence and what she did with Shanquella Robinson. So that is why she is no longer employed there. So if she's being dropped because of that, then she's clearly a suspect. She absolutely is. She's just as involved as the Cabo 6. The Cabo 6 got away. They fled the country. She did not. So she is still there. So why is nothing being said about her? Every time they come forward, it's still just in circle. It's just another circle that they're placing us in. We have gotten no further. Nothing has progressed within this case. Nothing. Not one thing. So and it's very unfortunate. But we're going to keep going. Shout out to my boo Island Brown, moderator. She says, just putting a little something in the collection plate and sending love. Oh, Island, I love you. Island, oh my God, I love you. Moderator. Oh my God, I love you. Hi, Tip West. Yes, so nothing really has been updated when it comes to this, but again, let's keep going. So let me put this back on the screen, make it bigger so y'all can see it too. Okay, De La Rosa Anaya says they will look to extradite the suspect to Mexico once they are located. So again, they don't know where Dejanay is. Robinson died in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico during a trip with a group of 6 friends on October 29th, 2022. Her family said the friends claimed it was because of alcohol poisoning. Mexican authorities have made it clear this was not an accident but a direct attack on Robinson. Despite various accounts of what happened to Robinson, a death certificate found she died 15 minutes after suffering a broken neck and severe spinal cord injury. Mexican authorities said in November 2022 they had an arrest warrant for an unnamed woman who was on the trip with Robinson. So clearly that is obviously Dejanay, because she's in the viral video putting her hands on Shanquella. So yeah, I mean, I don't know why they won't say her name, but it is what it is. The development was shared after a disturbing video circulated online. Again, Dejanay. Robinson's own father confirmed it showed her being beaten, likely sometime during the trip. WCNC Charlotte has chosen not to share the video out of respect for Robinson and because the video may be disturbing for some viewers. FBI Charlotte stated in November 2022, that they had an open investigation into Robinson's death as well. Chris Schwecker, a retired FBI agent, previously told WCNC Charlotte there is a statute that gives the FBI and the State Department the ability to investigate the murder of a U.S. citizen in foreign country and at the hands of another U.S. citizen, but there are limitations. If the quote from the FBI here in America, if the foreign country is willing to prosecute, that individual will exercise that jurisdiction, Schwecker said in November 2022. The other one is if that perpetrator is out of the country where the murder took place and that country has no means of prosecuting or investigating the perpetrator. Okay. So this again is still a mess. It absolutely is. But let's get back into this clip. Hold on. Let me here or here. I think it's here.
In a case that is being fully investigated. Right now, it was important to obtain, above all, the judicial order of the presumed person responsible for these unfortunate events, but also other situations of criminal responsibility and complicity.
The prosecutor says the investigation is a collaboration with American authorities. He says federal investigators have requested interviews conducted by Mexican authorities of Robinson's friends who were with her on that trip.
Give me strength.
When life gets messy, Brawny helps you find the strength. With 100 more sheets than Bounty, Brawny, stay giant.
It's Brittany breaking overnight.
Okay, can you guys still hear me? Okay, you can. Great. So it's a lot. It is still a lot going on with that, but moving right along, because again, like I said, it's not much to update. But there is a little bit more, and then we're going to move on to the next segment. But okay, Shanquella Robinson investigation, when it could end, where does it stand? Okay, now I think this is important for a lot of us to know what is going on with the case and where the case stands. So we're going to do that right now. So Charlotte, NC. On the day Shanquella Robinson would have been celebrating her 26th birthday, her family and friends are continuing their push for justice. That included a balloon release Sunday afternoon at Betty's Ford Memorial Gardens in Charlotte. Quote, "They can't silence her. They can't silence us. You know justice will be served," friend Bobby Collins said during the balloon release. In the search to find out what happened to Robinson in Cabo, Mexico, there are 2 investigations, one by the Mexican authorities and an independent investigation by the FBI. Quote, "This is a little surprising with that video that nobody has broken," said Chris Schwecker, former FBI assistant. If you will, they haven't really rolled somebody over, to put it in law enforcement parlance. So the FBI director is saying that he's pretty shocked, basically, that none of the Cabo Six have rolled anybody over. Like no one has come forward, rather Nazir, Khalil, Dejanay, Elise, Winter, none of them have come forward and stated anything. None of them have, although there was Nazir and his mom going around stating that the FBI cleared him. Well, how did the FBI clear you if you've never spoke to them? As far as the FBI is concerned, none of them have come forward and stated anything. And with this being an open investigation here, their hands are still tied. The FBI here, it's not much that they can do until the extradition process starts. That's when they can really get active. But other than that, they can't get active. They absolutely can't. So they kind of just have to sit back and wait for whatever they need from Mexico, is what I'm presuming. But it doesn't mean that they are doing nothing. It doesn't mean that. It just means that there's only a certain amount that they can do with this going on. Kicking in doors, just snatching people up, throwing them in cells and whatnot. Again, this did not happen here in America. So again, we knew this was going to be a long ride. We knew this was going to be a tough ride. It's not going to get any easier, but it doesn't mean that we give up, because we are absolutely not. So Swecker was referring to a viral social media that appeared to show a fight between another woman and Robinson. Since Robinson's death on October 29th, the world has demanded someone be held accountable. As her name continues to trend on social media, many have asked how long does an FBI investigation take? We asked former FBI Assistant Director Swecker for an answer. His quote: "If this had happened in the US, first of all, the FBI wouldn't be working on it because it would be a local homicide." So again, they said if this did happen here, we wouldn't be working on it no way. This wouldn't be our case. This will be Charlotte and the police department there in Charlotte, North Carolina. That's where it happened. That's their jurisdiction. The police department would have taken this over, no different than like the first 48 and whatnot. A homicide detective would be on the case and they would take care of it. The FBI would only get involved if certain things happened. It's like flee, like the country, like if the person flee the country and whatnot. But the Charlotte, the people in the police department in Charlotte, the detectives there figured out who did it, but they're just no longer here in the country. So that's things like that, like the FBI would get involved in, like, oh, okay, so we need to get them extradited back here. Okay. So things like that. But other than that, like he said, this wouldn't be us no way. Y'all wouldn't be waiting on us if this happened here. It would be from whatever city and state that it happened in, the local law enforcement there. They would handle it. So, which makes complete sense. So, but let's keep going. Okay. Okay. But typically a homicide investigation like this would go fairly quickly when you have the video like this and witnesses that are available to be interrogated or interviewed. Other forensic evidence, maybe video or maybe time logins, that sort of thing. Cell phone pinging, which you see in the Idaho case. All that evidence is available. In extraterritorial cases, particularly involving the Mexican government, which is really hit or miss when you deal with the prosecutors and the federal police down there and the judicial police down there. Okay. So again, with the evidence that they have with this case, if this happened in America, this would be quick. Is what he's saying. This would be open and shut. No different than the Idaho case. They have a suspect and whatnot already. Again, it happened here. And on top of it happened here, they have the resources are unlimited into figuring out who this person is and who did what thing. If the local law enforcement there in Idaho couldn't figure it out right away, then the FBI would get involved with a case this big. So this is a big case. We need to get this shut as soon as possible. We need the suspect apprehended as soon as possible. He took multiple lives from multiple people and is still on the run. So who knows who's next? Like, we gotta find him. So yeah, the FBI would jump on this case if the Idaho Police Department there didn't get certain things done quickly, because they just like, yeah, no, this is way too big. Damage control, we got to get this done. But again, this didn't happen here. So again, Mexico, y'all can try to push this on America. This is not on America. Like, stop blaming America. It's annoying. It is annoying. It did not happen here. It's that simple. Cut it out. The ball is in y'all court. It's in your court. Do what you need to do. Hire federales or whatever you need to come here and find Dejanay and them, locate them, and all of that good stuff. Have them contact the local authorities so that they could be rather subpoenaed, arrested, whatever. Especially with Dejanay, if the extradition process is speeding up. From what I see, it doesn't seem like it is, but whatever is needed, locate her. And if America isn't using their time and dollars, which in extradition processes, the country is financially responsible for where it happened. So Mexico, you are financially responsible for making sure all Cabo 6 are located, making sure that Dejanay is apprehended, that they find her, so that they can lock her down. So when this extradition process starts, to when she come on over there, y'all know where to find her. You know exactly where she at, all of that. Y'all just sitting over there expecting for America to run around and clean up your mess. They aren't. They didn't let 6 suspects flee a country. Y'all did. Y'all did. And then again with this doctor, the one that gave them their alibi to get out of the country. Y'all say nothing about her. She's in y'all jurisdiction. She don't live here. Why is she not arrested? Why is she not in jail? Why? Literally, there's all type of charges that y'all could bring up on her. She lied to the police. She knew that Shanquella had passed away, that she was deceased upon arrival. She knew all of that stuff. All of it. There was some type of financial compensation. There absolutely was. Stop it. You got enough proof with that. With Khalil been on the phone with Salamandra, and Salamandra stating that Khalil said that it was going to be $5,000 for Shanquella to go to the hospital. That's motive. Right there alone, that a number was announced. $5,000 American dollars transferred into pesos is way more there. $5,000 is way more in Mexico than it would be here in the United States. So cut it out. And again, the girl had already passed away. She was already gone. So there's plenty of motive. Plenty of it there. So why not start with arresting her? Showing Salamandra's family, showing the Robinson family that you are doing something. What are you doing besides sitting around waiting for this case to die down enough to where people stop talking about it so y'all can just walk away? Just like they did with Kanika Jenkins and other women. It seems like that's what y'all doing. Mexico. Y'all are waiting until the story goes away, until it's no longer viral. Well, as long as I live and breathe, I'm going to talk about Shanquella. I'm going to make sure y'all do something. I'm going to make sure it happens. Like you tried it. Because that's what it's given. Y'all are just waiting for us to stop paying attention. So as soon as we do, then y'all can just sweep it under the rug and move on. Because the doctor lives there and she still ain't arrested. Explain that, Mexico. What does it have to do with America? Hurry up. What does it have to do with America? Why is she not in jail? But y'all so concerned. I can't tell. I can't tell. You ain't even arrested the person that you have. She's completely in your jurisdiction. Completely. And she's not arrested yet. Y'all acting like it's not stuff y'all could be doing. Arrest her. And let me give you something to do. La Nea, De La Nea, De La Rosa. Let me give you something to do. You seem bored. Arrest her. Arrest her. Just like you about to do Dejanay. Throw her away. Hurry up. Throw her away. Yeah. Yeah, there's things that you could be doing. But you so worried about what's going on over here in America. Stop it. I'm not worried about what's in your burrito. I'm not worried about what's in your burrito. I ain't worried about that. You eating it. You tried it. There's plenty of things that y'all could be doing. You don't want to. This takes money, time, all of that. And you, as the extraditing country, you are financially responsible. Whatever it takes. If the FBI have to do anything, y'all got to pay them to. You. So, of course, it seems like the FBI here are shuffling their feet. It didn't happen here. What are they getting active about? You tried it. You got to send them a case with a reason, with no doubt that this is what happened. Even for the extradition to even make sense. You ain't even did that yet. Nobody from the FBI stated that we are in the extradition process. We don't know that. All we know is that there's an active warrant. That's it. No one's been extradited. There's just an active warrant. That is it. Stand still. That is all that is. There is no Interpol agents like Sriracha told y'all. No. Mexico needs to get on it. Hire your own people, even if it's an investigative team here. Hire them here or send your own. Send your own people here and have them find the Cabo 6. Start with Dejanay. Locate her. Keep eyes on her until this extradition process, because there's not much you can do. And it's not the FBI's responsibility here to do so. It's not. It's their job to apprehend so that that person can be extradited. That's it. That is it. And in order for them to do that, Mexico, you got to let us know where they are. Just like Sriracha went on his website lying, saying that the Charlotte PD gave all 6 Cabo 6 members, the Eva Cabo 6, subpoenas. So then that would mean that Mexico sent the team here to identify where all 6 people are, found them, gave the information to Charlotte PD, and then Charlotte PD went and served them. That's what that were. That's what that would have meant. All of that is a lie. All of that is a lie. None of that is true. That is a lie. And we know it's a lie because they don't even know where they are. De La Rosa said himself, we got to locate them first. We got to locate them first. How he going to locate them in Mexico? I don't know. What are you doing to locate them? Tell us that. What is the plan? You've done nothing. You're just sitting back, waiting for this to, 2 things, waiting for this to go away or hoping that the FBI do your job for you. No. If America wants to extradite someone from Mexico, we're going to go get them. That's what we're going to do. Whether we hire a team over there to find them for us so they can extradite, or we send our own team over there to locate them, give the information to the Mexican authorities, and then have them apprehend them for us, and then we go from there. But America's just not, okay, well, let us know when you got them, Mexico, and we'll come down and get them. No, it don't work like that. It don't work like that. We will be responsible if somebody from Mexico did something here and they made it back across the border. Because it was our responsibility to make sure that they didn't cross that border. We are supposed to apprehend them. Doesn't matter if you are from this country. You can definitely get arrested in it. You don't have to be from this country to get arrested in it. That's weird. That's weird. Yeah, you can come somewhere on a visa. You can come somewhere just visiting. And if you get in trouble, you're stuck there. If you go back to your country, it's because your country sends for you. If your country don't send for you, you're just going to be locked up. That's just how it goes. And it's giving that Mexico does not care. They don't. They want us to think that they do, because that's how you do, once again, damage control. Let's get them to think that we care. Because again, there's things that could be being done. Mexico, you want me to think you care? Arrest her. Hurry up. Arrest her. Stop talking about it and be about it. Speaking in Spanish for nothing. We don't care. We want action. We tired of hearing y'all talk. It's annoying. Shut up. Do something. Do more than you speak of. Come tell us what you did. We haven't heard anything. It's annoying. There's plenty that you could be doing to show faith to America and the Robinson family that you mean business, that you're serious, and that you're going to take care of this. Just sitting down talking, we don't care. I don't care. What's being done? We tired of talking. We tired of trying to decipher through all of these lies and cover-ups and all of this stuff to protect y'all, because y'all already know what it is. Y'all don't want no problems with us. Y'all don't want no problems. Y'all don't want any problems. Keep it cute. So do something. It's annoying now. Like the anniversary of her passing about to come up soon. Can we get some good news? Can we have something to celebrate? Can the family sleep a little easier? But y'all want to keep coming forward doing this. We're over it. We don't care. Like, ugh. Let's get back into this article so we can move on to the next topic, because I'm getting mad. I'm getting mad. Okay, Mexican government. Okay, was really hit or miss. And different prosecutors down there. Please, okay, they're hit or miss. Okay, right here. They're hit or miss in terms of their competence. Number one, number two, and their motivation to actually get moving on the case. So we have to get the evidence in our hands before. So we have to get the evidence in our hands before we can actually introduce the evidence into the U.S. courts. Mexico, what does this have to do with America? You have to send them a concrete case, like I have been saying for months, with no doubt, pretty much. You got to be that strong. So that when you send it to the FBI agents, they can present it to the U.S. courts for extradition. They haven't even made it that far yet to where they could, because y'all, it's you. It's like y'all want the FBI to come from America to go over there and do it for you. No, you got to do it. But it's so many cover-ups and loopholes and whatnot that y'all, it's like y'all don't even want to send it over here. Stop making it seem like America is holding up this process. It is you. Stop. That's why I was giving y'all don't care. Because if you did, why hold up the process? Speed this up. You can even be helping by once again showing America how serious y'all is by arresting this bitch. Like, get her. Arrest her. Get Carolina need to be in jail. Carolina Orleans, the doctor, needs to be arrested. Show the police you mean business. Show the FBI you mean business. We are so sure of what we're sending you that we have already arrested one of our own. We have already arrested the doctor that was on the premise. Y'all ain't did nothing. Y'all, this all y'all do. And then y'all sitting with liars. So that just makes it worse. That doesn't make it better. Y'all so busy covering everything up that it's hard for y'all to even send America anything because America, it's geniuses over here. Geniuses. So whatever geniuses y'all have in Mexico, I would advise y'all put them together. Put them together. Because if you send that story over here with that case with any holes in it, you best believe the FBI here is going to probe them. They're going to probe them. Yeah. If there's anything that they can't understand or needs to be explained further, you have to explain it. That's not for America to do. Because again, it didn't happen here. So if they feel like the concierge or one of the housekeeping or something like that, that is in your territory. Your jurisdiction. You got to figure any question that they have. Even if they have a question, they have to send it to you and you have to go and get the answer. And when you give them that set answer, that answer needs to make sense. But y'all so busy lying and covering things up for people. Y'all don't know, like, this could take forever. This could take forever. So cut it out. Stop blaming America. It's not America's fault. It's not. Put a solid case together with Shanquella. Send it over here so we can send Dejanay to y'all. But in the meantime, arrest her. Arrest her. Hurry up. What are you waiting for? Weird. So we can get the evidence in our hands before we can actually introduce the evidence to the U.S. courts. That's all done by treaty, which is Interpol. That's all done by treaty. Okay. And that's ribbons and bows for formal paper requests that go back and forth. It's a painstaking, laborious, bureaucratic process. And in Mexico, it's even more so, he said. So he said in Mexico, it's even worse. It's even worse there. At least with us, we have a certain process to where it makes the process a little easier. But in Mexico, it's everywhere. Like that process is everywhere, everywhere. So again, but move right along. So his quote, you got the video. Obviously, you can obtain stored text data, stored email data. People tend to be careless at the moment. And then they'll text each other back and forth about what happened after the fact. So again, The officer is stating, you got jurisdiction to all of this stuff. We gave y'all jurisdiction to their phone lines. Like the FBI said, we could get all this stuff together ourselves, but it didn't happen here. So that's not our job. They got to do that. We gave them permission. They have permission to do so by treaty. By the treaty we have with them, they have the permission to go ahead and look into their phone records, all of that stuff, to put a solid case together. Because with that video alone is more than enough proof. Okay, now we're just building the case around it. Why? Okay, we see this altercation. Why? Phone records and things like that, because like they said, people crack after certain things like that happen, because people are careless when it does, especially if it's not planned, if it's something that kind of just happens. So phone calls back home, text messages to certain people, all of that stuff. Here you have free reign. Whatever you need to get them, you got it. That's fine. But it's not our responsibility to put that together, because this is not our case. The case is only open here because America is cooperating with Mexico. America is saying, we got you. Like, we got your back. Due to our treaty that happened there to one of ours, we got your back. Whatever you need, let us know. But we're waiting for you. It's not the other way around. But that's how they're trying to push it. That's how Mexico, La Rosa, all I'm trying to make it seem like, oh, it's just a waiting game. No, it's not. It's called an investigation, not a waiting game. Finish your investigation. Send this information, which the investigation should be done. Because, I mean, what else are there? What? The Cabo 6 been back here. They've been back here. So it's not like there's other evidence to collect besides whatever happened after they left, which America has given them full entitlement to. You go right ahead. As you notice, with all the Cabo 6, they all changed their numbers. They all got new phones, all of that stuff. Good. Then you have a great timeline, meaning wherever they cut them phones off at, whatever information you need, stored data, all of that, we got you. We got you. We will make sure that you get said information, but you have to put this together. You have to figure out why. That's not for us to do. We just here to send them to you. And that's all America's here for. America, the FBI, they're just waiting to send Asian or whoever they need on over there. Whoever committed the crime. That's it. If anything, they're the messenger. If they're the Uber. If they transportation. It's all America is. Because again, it didn't happen here. So Mexico, you can't blame anything on America. Unless America, the paperwork that they sent you back that said, okay, we approve this. The case that you have is, okay, fine. You're right. We have everything we need to make sure that this happens. Okay, we're going to take it to the U.S. courts. And then when they take it to the U.S. courts, a judge will decide the same thing. Okay, is this case solid? Okay, it's open and closed type of situation. Okay, fine. Let's get this paperwork sent back over there to them. Then they'll send paperwork back. And then when they send that paperwork back, then the extradition process will start. So it's a process. It's not something that's just going to boom happen. And there's other channels here in America that that type of extradition has to go through. So it's still going to take time, but it can be sped up if Mexico did their job. Like, that's the problem. Mexico. That's not racist. That's honest. It's a fact. It happened in Mexico. The Mexican authorities are responsible for getting Shanquella justice, not America. It's not our responsibility because it did not happen here. It happened on your soil, on your time, by your crooked doctors, by your crooked policemen, by your crooked villas. That's where it happened. Take care of it. No, you're not going to blame it on us. What you blaming on us? Didn't happen here. Because if it happened here, it would have been taken care of already, unlike y'all. Lazy motherfuckers. Fucking scammers and con artists and other girl. Whew. Moving right along. So let's get into. Let me pull this up. Shout out to
and do what you're supposed to do.
Shout out to Shanquella. We love you, Shanquella. We absolutely do. Shout out to the Robinson family. Justice for Shanquella. We will not stop. We will not stop. There will be more updates that will come up. I'm sorry I don't have more for you guys. There is other stuff, but I just don't feel like any of that matters. What matters is the people pay that did it. I really don't care about anything else besides that. So, and I'm sure it's frustrating because if I'm this frustrated, I can imagine her family and how they feel. So again, this doesn't matter more to us than it does to them. And I think we have to keep that in mind. So I try to do so. I try to remember that Shanquella is 10 times more important to her family than me. But if I care this much, they have to be going through. So shout out to her entire family. So let's move on into this. So again, I have no dog in whatever is supposed to be going on between Tasha K and Larry Reid. I could care less. I just don't care. I owe Tasha no loyalty. I owe Larry no loyalty. And this has been going on for quite some time. And without knowing all of the facts, I don't feel that it is a good thing to do to come forward and say who's guilty, who did this, who did that, without knowing exactly what's going on. So I did just that. I paid attention to the things that I wanted to pay attention to. I paid attention to some of these alleged receipts that were dropped by Larry Reid and his team over the years that proves allegedly Larry's exoneration. Now, I'm not going to go from beginning to end. I'm not going to go around and watch every single person that did a video on it, every single person that interviewed the accusers. I'm not doing none of that because it's not my responsibility. That's for Larry to do. And I'm going to keep saying that I'm a lone wolf. I have always been a lone wolf. I'm not coming forward going to bat for anybody. Have I looked out for the people that I care about on YouTube? Absolutely. And I do that within my own time, but I don't go to literal bat for anyone. So I'm not, besides victims. So I'm not about to go to bat for Tasha. I'm not about to go to bat for Larry. I'm not about to do any of that. Now, I understand that with Tasha K and with Larry Reid, that they have had certain problems with one another. There have been certain things that have taken place between them. They started off building a friendship. That friendship didn't last. They went their separate ways. Tasha decided to give and do certain information afterwards. Now, well, while this may be out of spite to, it does seem spiteful, but it doesn't take from the story. It doesn't take from what's going on. So it doesn't matter how much, to me, Tasha does not like Larry. If these people are telling the truth, they're telling the truth. If a person is telling the truth, they're telling the truth. So how about I look at it? Say one accuser isn't telling the truth. It does not negate that one is telling the truth. It does not. Guilty is guilty. It's that simple. Doesn't matter if you did it to 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't matter. One is enough. Okay. Now I don't play about these type of things as somebody, as a abuse survivor myself. I don't play about it. It's not a joke to me. It's none of that stuff. So the whole comical Sean, he's not here right now. Okay. This is serious Sean. All right. So with this going on and me stating that this is not a game, it absolutely isn't. One thing that I'm confused by with this situation with Larry Reid and his accuser, LaVontae, is that why does everybody expect LaVontae to be a perfect victim, but it's okay for Larry to be a sloppy accused? I don't get that. I don't get that. Why does LaVontae and all of his information have to be perfect and spot on, but Larry gets to change his story? He gets to change what happened. He gets to change what happened and what didn't happen. He gets to do all of that. That's completely fine. But as a victim, okay, with trauma, things become blurry. So it's not excusing anything. It's not doing any of that. It's just that, again, some things are blurry when you are telling your story. Some things you remember like that, and then some things you just may have skipped, because again, with trauma, you suppress. So a lot of the memories that you have about what happened to you, you try to bury them. You try your hardest not to think of them. So that's why when victims come forward and tell their stories, they may be all over the place sometimes, but it all aligns to where what happened to them still happened to them. Okay. It's not like LaVontae came forward and stated certain things, and now LaVontae is coming forward and taking all of it back. He's not. He's not doing that. Okay. Since the first day he came forward and stated that certain things happened to him, certain things have still happened to him. So I'm not going to take that away from him because people view Larry as likable. I don't care. Now, I kept the dog out of the fight because, like I said, I don't know Larry to judge him like that. And if these people are lying on him, or a person is lying on him, that is horrible. Nobody deserves that. Okay? If Larry is innocent, then it needs to be yelled from the mountaintop. But if Larry is guilty, that needs to be yelled from the mountaintop too. So let's get right into it. Now, LaVontae's mom interviewed with Tasha today. Y'all go check that out. Shout out to Tasha K Live. Y'all go check out her interview that she did with LaVontae's mom. Now, I've seen a lot of you super mammies in the comments, not on Tasha K Live, underneath her last video, the first video that she did. And a lot of you super mammies were in the comments stating, why would a mom leave her kid? Why would she leave her kid with him? Why would she do da? People get abused everywhere, okay? When you are trusting somebody, you are trusting someone, okay? I'm gonna need you super mammies to get with that. There are children that are inwarded at school, daycare, church, outside, at a relative's house, at friend's house. The list just goes on and on and on. Okay? So for you super mammies, if one of your kids came up to you right now and told you that the person that used to babysit for you while you were at work and what you were doing, you out there getting corn to take care of them, was doing certain things to them, would you feel a certain way? Would you feel like that was your fault? Or did you trust that person to not harm your child? You send your kid to school and their teacher inwords them. Is that your fault? Or did you trust that school to not touch your kid? Okay? You go sit your kid in a dentist chair and you go wait in an office and something happened to your kid while they're in there in that dentist chair, or a doctor's office or anything like that. Is that your fault? Or were you trusting them to not touch or harm your child? Okay? Pastors are definitely looked at that way. My mother left me with my pastor all the time. He never touched any of us, male or female. 30 years he was a pastor, and he never touched us. There was never one allegation. Nobody ever brought anything up. And there was plenty of people that lied on that man. Plenty of people that lied on him, but it wasn't about nothing like that. It wasn't about nothing like that. That doesn't make sense. It's like, okay. He never hurt or harmed any of us. We went camping. We did all type of things. He took us skiing. All type of stuff. And it was just us. And we stayed with him. No one ever, not one allegation, nothing. Okay? So the trust that my mom had instilled in him was fair because he didn't do anything to us. But if he would have, it still would not have been my mom's fault. Okay? So for y'all to sit there and try to blame LaVontae's mom, y'all are disgusting. Okay? She was a single mother trying to do the best that she could. And then you have somebody like Larry that is coming through, like he said, trying to be a Captain Saver, which again, with most pastors and stuff, that's not foreign, that they will open up their door for people that don't have anywhere to stay, troubled youth, all type of things. They do that. Why is that? Like, y'all act like the woman handed her child to a stranger. Had just met him that day, an hour later, her son was moving in. No. He spent plenty of time around Larry, and so did she. Larry said out of his own mouth that they were members of the church. Okay? So she got to know Larry. She got to. So y'all got to cut that out. That doesn't make any sense. Y'all are weird. So let's blame her for trusting a pastor. Aren't pastors supposed to be trustworthy? I didn't know that. Just because something happened in one place doesn't mean it's going to happen everywhere. So that means that all pastors are predators, right? I mean, that's what it's giving. Super mammies. That's what it's giving. That all pastors are predators. They're not. They absolutely aren't. It's just some people that give it a bad name. So, with the receipts that Larry and his team put out about LaVontae, all right, the HIV receipt does not fit this situation. LaVontae never said anything about Larry giving him anything. He never said anything about that. So that's one of the crucial receipts, which again, don't matter. Why does that matter? LaVontae is not saying that. So how would Larry being negative prove that he didn't do anything to LaVontae? Go ahead. Supporters of Larry, tell me that. Hurry up. Hurry up. Go ahead. Type it in the box. Let me know what this he's negative receipt, the rapid test. What does this have to do with LaVontae? Drop it. Drop it. Because I'm coming with facts. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Another receipt that I'm going to need, because the police report, honestly, again, dry receipt. It doesn't really mean anything. Another receipt I'm going to need the receipt of Larry Reid stating from 2019 to now, a receipt of Larry Reid stating that he did not do it, but he knows who did. Larry, this is why I have a problem with you. Yeah, because this was between me and you. I don't give a damn who talks free. I don't care about none of that. Deaf ears that will fall on, because I'm talking to you. So Larry, when did all of a sudden you know about this with LaVontae? Because you've always stated that it was not true, Larry. You never stated, Larry, that somebody else did that to LaVontae. You never said that. Tasha K is on a roll. Yeah. Tasha K made you go on Patreon, Larry, and bury yourself, because I was very disappointed with what you said, Larry, because I was rooting for you. I really was. I was rooting for you. I was hoping that this was not true. But from what I gather from your Patreon, Larry, what you sat on there and said, you are guilty. And if you're not guilty of doing it yourself, you knew who did it. Either way, you are guilty. You are disgusting. I'm like, so you sitting here this whole time knowing that this happened to LaVontae, and you did nothing. Larry, you sitting on Patreon trying to push this narrative that LaVontae wasn't 15, he was actually 17. You are still gross. You are still a predator. What is attractive about a 17-year-old? If you'll sleep with somebody 17 or do something with somebody 17, you do something with somebody 16, 15, and on down. It's predatorial. It's predatorial. You're trying to push him to be every age but an adult. It's weird. It's weird. You are burying yourself. All of the people that was standing for you and that had your back, it's all in vain. You played them all. Every single last one of them. Shout out to Tasha K, because she made you bury yourself. She absolutely did. She did. And let's get into these receipts. And we're going to get into these receipts, because I'm going to deal in receipts. And Larry, what Larry said, I don't give a damn about what nobody else say. I care about what Larry says, because he is the accused. If you were not in that room, shut the fuck up. That's how I view it. That's how I view it. If you ain't Larry or LaVontae, I don't give a good goddamn what you got to say. You weren't there. He was. He was. The girl, bye. Anybody that's been defending him, it's all in vain. All in vain. He did it to y'all. He made y'all look stupid. So if you're going to be mad at anybody, be mad at him for playing y'all, because he ain't play me. He didn't play me. He can't drop off a bag big enough for me to defend him. Gross. I would never defend a man that in his 30s, on his way to his late 20s, looking at 15, 16, 17. Gross. Hair flip. You defend it. I'm not defend. That's why I said I don't defend predators. I don't defend that. And he did it to himself. And we're going to get into that. Hair flip. Hair flip. No, don't strike one of them, Tip West. Get rid. Get rid. Get rid. Because I come with receipts. Larry, own words. If y'all going to fight anybody, you're going to fight him today. Yeah. You're going to fight him. Yeah. Y'all want so badly for this to be an opinion. It's not. From his own mouth. Where are the receipts again of Larry stating that he did not do it? But LaVontae is not lying. But the only part about it he's lying about is that Larry did it. But that did happen to him. So you're agreeing with LaVontae. When did this start? Weren't you just suing him? Why would you sue somebody that you know got abused, but you didn't do it? Where's that receipt? Hurry up. You knew this happened to this boy? The man now. And you did nothing? But you was just at court trying to sue him and whatnot? How'd that work? Who? What? Oh, okay. Shout out to Tasha K. Because Tasha K literally made him bury himself alive. And we're going to get into that. But before we do, there's a YouTuber that went live a couple days ago. And when they went live on that show, Armand Wiggins was there. Shout out to Armand Wiggins. And Armand Wiggins said on that YouTuber show, with Larry being there, Armand's quote, "Something happened in that house." Larry Reid's quote, he agreed and said, but it wasn't him. I thought nothing happened. I thought he was lying on you. What's going on here? What's going on here? So it doesn't matter, honestly, who it was, because you knew. Ooh, how many did Larry Reid supporters drop these receipts? Who did it? Since Larry said it happened, but he said he didn't do it. Where the receipts at? Who did? Y'all want to drop rapid tests and all of that? Okay. LaVontae ain't say nothing about no STI, none of that. What a rapid test prove? How is that a receipt? What? You got to wait for the next accuser for that one. You got to hold that receipt. LaVontae didn't say that. So, yeah, you got to hold on to that one, player. Yeah, wait till the next one. Wait till Tasha sit down on the next episode. When she sits down with that accuser, this ain't that accuser. So that's not going to hold up, buddy. And you stated that you never did it, that nothing like that ever happened. You never stated, Larry, that somebody else did it. You know who did it, and that LaVontae was projecting onto you because he did not want to state the real culprit. You never said that. That's not what you put in that lawsuit. Oh, no. You didn't say, Judge, he got the wrong guy. It wasn't me. It was the one-armed man. You didn't say that. Now, all of a sudden, Larry gets to change his story, and that is fine. That's fine. Larry gets to change his story, but LaVontae got to be perfect. LaVontae can't miss a beat. He can't miss a beat. He got to be all over it. But Larry gets to change the story when he wants to, change the suspect when he wants to. He gets to do all of that. And that's completely fine. I find that weird. Don't y'all? And this ain't because of Tasha. Larry did it himself. Larry went onto that YouTuber show. And when Armand said something definitely happened in that house, Larry agreed. Why are you agreeing? This is what, 2019, something like that? You've been stating that LaVontae's a liar. Nothing happened. I never did anything to him. Now, all of a sudden, you agreeing to inappropriate conversations and all of that? You never said any of this, Larry. I'm inclined to believe the person whose story stayed the same. LaVontae said you did it, so I believe him in the story. Shout out to Tasha K. Because Tasha K brought out the truth. She made Larry go put his own foot in his mouth. She absolutely did. So let's get into this audio. I'm gonna turn this microphone off and use this other one. But let's get into, hold on. Let's get into this audio of Larry on Patreon. Well, I even got it for you. I changed it up. I put music behind it, all of that. So I'm not worried about any of that. And I'm gonna stop it through. Hold on. I want to make sure that y'all can hear me. Okay. Y'all can. Okay. Yep. Y'all can hear me. Let me just make sure I can hear this.
So it was just it is just
Y'all can hear it, but I can't. Okay. I need to make myself sorry, able to hear this because I can't give commentary if I can hear it. Hold on one second. Okay, I just need to make sure that I can hear this. Sorry, y'all.
and do what you're supposed to do. And so it was just it is just so much to take in because you know it's a lie. Like there is no Reid had never been by himself. Never. We were married all the way up until 2007. LaVontae was born in 1990, so that makes him 17. And you know, if I'm in the picture, that is not happening. So what are you talking about? I'm like, and then they try to paint the narrative. Oh, she wasn't there. I was only gone for 2 years, and when I came back, me and Reid was together. So I'm trying to figure out. And then when it wasn't me, he was engaged to Jennifer, and she was. I'm sorry.
Now, this is Larry Reid's ex-wife. Okay. I want to make sure y'all can hear me. Sorry. Okay, y'all can. Now, this is Larry Reid's ex-wife, Lisa. And Lisa is coming in Larry's defense on Patreon. So she's discussing right now that everyone says that she wasn't around, but she's stating that it was only a 2-year gap, which I mean, girl, 2 whole years, but okay. She's stating that she wasn't around, but she's coming in Larry's defense. So with her coming in Larry's defense, she is stating that Larry was never alone with LaVontae or anybody like that. It was always somebody around, ... So keep listening.
He was engaged to somebody else, and she was overseas, so he was doing a whole lot of traveling and all those things. Because when he called me, he was in London. So I'm like, so what are you talking about? None of this. Reid was never by himself. He always had his adjutant with him or Mako. He has never been by himself with nobody.
That's
so I'm trying to figure out. What I'm saying is there was no room there for none of that to happen.
Now you hear Lisa, his ex-wife, the lesbian, because she a whole lesbian. So that's what I don't get. I'm like, you marry a lesbian, y'all sleep in the different rooms, your house full of boys, full of young men and whatnot. Anyways, so she states that Larry was not alone with any of these boys. That didn't happen. LaVontae is a liar. That didn't happen. Okay. He never has time to be alone with them. Keep listening.
None.
Well, to LaVontae's point, I never went nowhere by myself, but when I was home, I always stayed up in the room as I still do now.
To LaVontae's point. So LaVontae is stating that he and Larry were alone often, to where the alleged abuse that was going on with him when he was, I'll just say 17. When he was 17, that he was alone with Larry when these things occurred. So again, no one knows the truth besides Larry and LaVontae, because they were the only people present. His ex-wife, the Beard, just stated that LaVontae was lying because they were never alone with her, although she was gone for 2 whole years. So it's like, girl, shut up. I mean, you're a bad character witness anyway, but whatever. So she is stating that that Larry was not alone with LaVontae. Larry cuts her off to have LaVontae's back. Literally, listen to how he starts this off.
Room there for none of that to happen. None.
Well, to LaVontae's point.
LaVontae's point. So he is backing LaVontae, stating that we were alone. Isn't she here to negate these things? So Larry, What you're not realizing is if this woman, Lisa, your ex-lesbian wife, Beard, came here to help your image and state that these things aren't true because he was never alone with you and things in that nature, and you completely derail everything she just said. So that means that she is a liar. That means that she just lied, is what that means. Do you not get that? That's why she didn't talk after this. I wouldn't have said nothing either because I would have been like, mother. I came here, I would like to exonerate you. And now I understand why Larry doesn't talk, why he lets other people talk for him. I get it now. I totally get it. Literally. Because I'm like, this makes no sense. And so why you would negate what she's saying right now? You should have just let her rock because that was helpful in what she just said. But you cut her off like, we were alone. You proud of that? You want to be in a situation to where LaVontae's accusations could be true? Because she just tried to remove you from the allegations. You told her to shut up and place yourself right back there. So again, listen to everything she just said and then listen to Larry right after.
To somebody else, and she was overseas, so he was doing a whole lot of traveling and all those things. Because when he called me, he was in London. So I'm like, so what are you talking about? None of this. Reid was never by himself. He always had his adjutant with him or Mako.
She said Reid was never by himself.
He has never been by himself with nobody.
That's
so I'm trying to figure out, what I'm saying is there was no room there for none of that to happen. None.
Well, to LaVontae's point,
it shouldn't be to no LaVontae's point. You should have just let that rock. But that guilt inside of you wouldn't allow you to. So, well, to LaVontae's point, what you mean? So you want this to have happened. So you're saying that LaVontae is telling the truth. Because that's what he said. To LaVontae's point, he's backing LaVontae instead of his own ex-wife. Like, why are you not backing Lisa? Why are you backing LaVontae? I know you don't like Lisa, and it's giving you don't like her. Because you even negating what she's saying. Like, was she talking about your man? Do she need to put some respect on your man's name? Because you should have just let that rock. But instead, because you know LaVontae is what it's given, isn't lying. But what Larry is doing right here is setting up the blame to be placed onto somebody else. Because again, you don't hear him blaming on nobody else within this moment in time or anything. All he's stating is that LaVontae is telling the truth. To LaVontae's point is what Larry said, and I keep listening.
I never went nowhere by myself, but when I was home, I always stayed up in the room as I still do now. And just like now, everybody comes one by one into my room and asks me, engage me, talk to me, however.
He says everybody, even still to this day, come in my room one by one to engage him. Again, with LaVontae stating what happened to him, the only people that know if that's true or false would be Larry or LaVontae. Nobody else knows. No one. If you were not in the room, you got to shut up. Like, you don't get to speak as if you were there. Like, were you in the corner? Were you in the closet? Were you under the bed? Oh, you weren't. So you can't negate anything that's being said. And Larry's saying it out of his own mouth. We were alone together. Okay, who on Larry's team gonna put out a receipt that when Larry was alone with LaVontae that nothing happened? Who got that receipt? Who got that? Because again, he's placing himself alone with LaVontae. Literally setting himself up. Crazy, but keep listening.
So we were by ourselves because there were things that he would do and nobody would be around. Now, what I'm not going to do, and I want to be very clear about this, and this is on purpose, and this is the reason why, I want to be very clear about this. What he is touting and saying that I did was not me.
Oh, y'all can't hear me. Oh. This is whole back and forth. Sorry. Sorry. Thank y'all. I'm like, why y'all can't hear me? Y'all should be able to. Now I gotta read those again. Sorry, y'all. I gotta read those super chats again because I love my people super chat. I love all of y'all, but I'll be feeling bad. Shout out to Banjo. Hey, Sean. Love your platform. Thank you so much, sweetie, for the super sticker. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Shout out to Linda C for the super sticker as well. Thank you so much. Jayla says, why in his room, though? Good question. Good question. You're a pastor. You got big houses and all this. You ain't got an office? You can't meet in the living room? Why is everybody is a meeting in your bedroom? I just find that weird. Absolutely. Hit the like, y'all. Please. So we're 2,200 people in here right now. Please hit the like, please. Tap that like. Let's get it in. So again, I'm going to play this over. Please repeat. Okay, I'm going to play this over.
What he is touting and saying that I did was not me. That's all I'm going to say.
He's saying what LaVontae is claiming that Larry did is not Larry. He's saying it's not me. So he is saying that what happened to LaVontae is real. Where are the receipts from Larry's camp of the person that did this? Why hasn't Larry Camp dropped those receipts since these allegations have been coming out since 2019? The difference between Bishop Whitehead and Daryl Moore talking about this situation over Tasha K is that Tasha K is going to do a rollout. She's not just going to, if she's going to go forward with something, she's going to put a lot of energy towards it. Okay? Daryl Moore done talked about this. Did he talk to LaVontae's mom? No. Did Bishop Whitehead talk to LaVontae's mom? No. See, this is the problem with Tasha doing this because they don't know what Tasha got up her sleeve. They have no idea. So Larry's team is definitely in disarray. You would have to be. Because Tasha got a team working behind her, and she's been working on this for months. So, like, again, I do not care if Tasha is doing this out of spite. I don't care. Because the victims are what matter. All right? Don't have nothing to do with Tasha. It really don't. She ain't bringing people forward to lie on Larry. That's not happening. That's not what that word. I mean, I guess we're going to have to wait and see. But as of now, with Larry coming forward saying that LaVontae is telling the truth, he was just on Tasha's. Why didn't he do this when Bishop Whitehead came forward? Why didn't he say this? When Daryl Moore came forward, even before Bishop, why didn't he say this then? Why is this just coming out now? He's saying LaVontae's allegations are true. I'm just not the one that did it. And that's all I'm going to say. So that means that you know what happened to him. So either way, you're guilty. But what is so weird about you, Larry, is that LaVontae ain't accusing nobody else. He's accusing you. He's accusing you. He's not accusing some other person. So either y'all was tossing that poor boy around. It was multiple of y'all doing it. Like your wife said, Shamarco, and all of them didn't leave your side. They didn't leave your side. She couldn't even get no time in because Shamarco was all up under you. She can't rub your feet because it was too many men rubbing your feet. I'm like, ain't this a wife's duty? What she was doing is she can rub your feet. It just sounds like you didn't want her to. If multiple different men was rubbing all on your body, your feet up. You say that out of your own mouth, Larry. You are giving Tasha K validation in everything she's doing right now. Everything that you are saying right now, you are slapping everybody in the face that had your back. Because ain't none of them talked about this. Why haven't the Larry Reid supporters came forward with an exclusive that Larry Reid didn't do this? This is the person that did it. Where's that receipt? Since we got to go watch every single thing about it, since we got to go watch every victim's testimony, since we got to look at every a piece of court paper or police report or rapid test, what does that prove? What does that prove? Let's keep going. It gets worse.
I'm going to leave it like that. Lisa, I am so sorry. I'm listening to you talk, and I remember, it's like taking me down memory lane because I forgot.
He says, Lisa, I'm sitting here listening to you talk. It's taking me down memory lane because I forgot. He could forget stuff. He could just remember things and add it in there. But if LaVontae forgets something, he lying. His story changed. He said this the first time. Now he's saying this, so he lying. Okay, so then what is Larry doing? What is he doing? Hurry up. Hurry up. What is Larry doing? What do you call this? He gets to forget things. That's fine, because he's Larry Reid. That's completely fine. He Larry Reid, so he's allowed to forget it too. But the victim, LaVontae, he better have everything perfect. He better not miss a beat. Although he was the one traumatized. Okay. But Larry just gets to do whatever he wants. Again, a sloppy predator. But the victim is supposed to be perfect. Y'all are weird. Y'all are weird. But let's back up a little bit again so for the people that's just coming in and wasn't here, so that you can hear Larry state that LaVontae is telling the truth. He just didn't do it because he's going to say it again. So let's keep going.
What he is touting and saying that I did was not me. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it like that. Lisa, I am so sorry.
He said that's all he's going to say. So he is still protecting that person to this day. And that's okay. Why wouldn't Tasha call Larry and talk to Larry on the phone? Why did Larry not tell Tasha about the other person? Why didn't Larry tell Tasha that he didn't do it, another person did? Larry said besides the one accuser, there is no other accuser. That's what Larry said. He ain't saying nothing about, I'm the wrongfully accused. Tasha, it wasn't me. It was actually another person, and it's not too much that I can say about that. I'm going to just leave it at that, but it wasn't me. He didn't say none of that. Because if he could talk about it on Patreon, knowing it was going to get everywhere, he could have said that on the phone with Tasha. Let me get something to drink. If he could say it now, what's the difference? What's the difference? The case had already been dismissed when he talked to Tasha on the phone. He didn't say, I can't talk about that, Tasha. I'm currently in courts. He didn't say that. We're not about to create excuses for him. He's done enough lying. Yeah, we're not going to do that. He literally went onto that YouTuber's channel and made a game of this. That was a joke over there. This is serious. This ain't nothing to play with. This is your life. Your reputation is at stake. And you over there playing? Oh, okay. God don't like ugly.
I'm listening to you talk, and I remember it's like taking me down.
Shout out to Nakia for the super sticker. She says, hey, Sean. Hey, chat. Hey, mods. I have nothing to say. I'm just here for the mess. Absolutely. Thank you for the super sticker, sweetie. Thank you.
Memory lane because I forgot. But I'm sorry because you say the church broke us up, but I allowed the church to break us up. That's what it was. I didn't know that I was being obsessed over. I did not know that I was being used to fulfill voids.
Larry says, I didn't know that I was being used. I didn't know that I was being obsessed over. I didn't know that I was being used to fill voids. Larry, you stated out your mouth multiple times that you were like a father figure to LaVontae. LaVontae stated that since they want us to do our research, I did. LaVontae stated that you were like a father to him. That's what he stated, that you were like a father. So you saying I didn't know I was being used, I didn't know, first of all, trying to turn yourself into a victim, you're not. You were being used, that you were being used to fill a void. The void part is what bothered me when you said that, because you know that LaVontae had a void because his father was no longer there for him like he was before. But that was not your responsibility. You chose to take it on because you saw a vulnerability within him. Absolutely, Larry, you tried it. So again, now all of a sudden you didn't know that these boys was around you because they were looking at you as a father figure. You say that like all of their fathers were in their lives. They weren't. Shamako, none of them. Fatherless. Daddy's doing everything but raising them. All of their mothers were single mothers and whatnot. Ain't nothing new about that. And LaVontae got a brother. So where are the receipts to say something that, oh, Lord, I'm like, oh, do y'all hear this? Do y'all hear him? He said himself that he was a father figure to these boys. That's why he moved them in the first place. If you weren't like a father figure to them, Larry, why were they there? Why were they there? If you were not giving guidance and all of those things as a pastor of a church, a father figure, a role model, you are all of those things. Now, all of a sudden, you didn't know that you were being used to fill a void? When did that happen? Why were they there? They just hanging out? Weird. Clearly, you were like a father figure to them. Like, gross. What other reason would they have been there? I mean, you were married to Lisa, a whole lesbian. Y'all slept in separate beds, all of that stuff. What was her reason to being there? It wasn't for sex. It wasn't for that. It couldn't have been. Y'all sleeping in separate beds. Were y'all doing it mentally? Were y'all cone heads? Putting rings on y'all forehead? Because she left for 2 whole years. Explain that. You stated yourself you kicked that woman out of church. Who kicks out their wife that they love? I mean, I wouldn't care either if I had a house full of boys. Shout out to C. Marie. She says, as someone who has suffered from SA trauma, my memory is horrible. Therapy has taught me my brain forgets to comfort itself and block out trauma. Absolutely. Not remembering doesn't equate to lying. # period. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. Again, it will make sense for a victim because they suppress. So when you suppress things that you try not to remember, when you do open that box up, not everything is going to come out at the same time. It's not. Sometimes you can talk about something that will remind you of something else. And then it's just like, oh, well, I forgot about. That doesn't mean you're lying. It does not mean that at all. Girl, thank you for saying that, Marie. Thank you. I'm just saying, y'all, he's digging his own grave. And why the girls are really pressed is because these is his own words. So you don't get to argue with me. Argue with Larry. Argue with him. Go over there and ask him why folk come. He could have been saying since 2019 that somebody else did that to LaVontae, that LaVontae was not lying, that this did happen to him. He is just not the culprit. LaVontae is projecting onto me because he feels that I abandoned him, that the person that was actually doing what they were doing to him is me. It's not me. He could have been saying that. Why is he saying that now? That's not damage control. That's guilt. It gets worse. Let's keep listening.
I did know who he was or who he could be and had some fears about that because of how he was. And he also told me about his cousin Mike and his former pastor, which is his mama's pastor, because he was playing the drums over there, had exposed him to some things.
Now, when he's talking about his cousin Mike, Larry said before this, I cut it because I don't want him to say the M word because pot calling kettle. But he alleges that LaVontae, his cousin, allegedly essayed him, is what Larry is alleging at the beginning of this. So Mike is okay. Let me replay that so y'all can hear that. Hold on.
Mike and his former pastor, which his mama's pastor, was, and he also told me about his cousin Mike and his former pastor, which is his mama's pastor, because he was playing the drums over there, had exposed him to some things, maybe a strip club, maybe it was.
So allegedly the pastor, his mom's pastor from before, exposed him to a strip club that has nothing to do with the M word. I don't get that. And then he also stated that his cousin, I believe the cousin was a cousin named Mike. Hold on, let me make sure. I want to make nothing up.
Was. And he also told me about his cousin Mike and his former pastor, which is his mama's pastor, because he was playing the drums over there.
So he's saying that allegedly LaVontae's cousin Mike had essayed him and murdered him. or worded him, I should say. And Larry says that LaVontae told him about that. And he also told him that his mother's ex-pastor took him allegedly to a strip club and whatnot. Larry, I thought you barely remembered this boy. Now you remember everything? Okay. LaVontae, as far as to my knowledge, he has not come forward and stated anything like that. But this is what Larry is stating. I don't know if he's trying to place the blame on the cousin or if he's trying to place the blame on the pastor, the ex-pastor. I also hear that the reason why Larry won't state who allegedly did this to LaVontae is because it was his elder pastor, the one that allegedly passed away. So it's given Larry is blaming a dead man for what happened to LaVontae. But again, LaVontae has been on multiple platforms, there are more, Bishop Whitehead and now Tasha K, stating that it was Larry. He's never stated anything about another man doing anything to him besides Larry, Laonia, Reid. But let's keep going.
Had exposed him to some things, maybe a strip club, maybe it was, I can't remember, don't quote me on that, and some girl that he had a relationship with. So when he came,
no, we are going to quote you, because if LaVontae is quoted for everything that he says and he has to be perfect, he has to say everything that he said from 2019 and so on forth. He can't change nothing. Everything has to be the same. Same thing goes for you. Same thing goes for you. I don't understand why everybody expects a perfect victim, but the accused just get to be just as sloppy as you want to be. The predator gets to be as sloppy, as they want to be. But, the victim has to be perfection. But okay, girl, let's keep going.
Came to me. This is why when somebody said that he said that I asked him to dance and turn around and show me da-da-da. Number one, and I should repeat again, I shared things with him I should not have shared.
Shout out to Tasha K. On Tasha K's show, LaVontae states that Larry had him be on camera when he came to do when did a visit. You know how they do these lone visits. When he came into his room, Larry requested him to, after a short conversation, he requested him to strip. He wanted him to dance. He didn't feel comfortable dancing, so he turned around. Larry told him to basically twirl. Well, not like literally twirl, but spin around. So that the camera, whatever. Larry doesn't say right here that didn't happen. Instead, Larry says that he knew that he was having inappropriate conversations with LaVontae, which at the time LaVontae would have been 17. So he was having inappropriate conversations with a 17-year-old. He does not say, I did not have LaVontae do that. LaVontae did not take his clothes off. LaVontae did not spin around on camera. I want y'all to listen to this again.
That and some girl that he had a relationship with. So when he came to me, this is why when somebody said that he said that I asked him to dance and turn around and show me da-da-da. Number one, and I should repeat again, I shared things with him I should not have shared. And because I told information, he was consistently curious about my life and what I have done, particularly with men.
There you go, being weird and lying again, Larry. And the proof is in the pudding. You were just over on that YouTuber's channel. You were questioning him about his sexuality, about his OnlyFans. You sitting over there grooming him, and he grown. So if LaVontae is bringing up conversations, if he is interested in women, and you said yourself that he was sleeping with girls and whatnot, hetero is what that's given. If any conversation is coming up about men, man on man, or anything gay, it's you. He's bringing it up because that's what you do. After you just sat here and admitted to having inappropriate conversations with him. Hold up. Like, this is what you're not about to do.
Said that I asked him to dance and turn around and show me da-da-da. Number one, and I should repeat again, I shared things with him I should not have shared.
Gay shit. Now tell the truth. You're sitting here saying that you share things with him that you shouldn't say. He's not interested in men like you are, and he's 17. So you're sitting here having inappropriate gay conversations gay sex related conversations with this young man. So if he did so happen to bring it up, he brought it up because he knows that that's what you like. This is what we discuss when we come in here. These tests that you like to give. If he's sitting there eating coochie and sleeping with girls, what are you in the room talking about boys for? He's talking about boys to appease you. After you sat there and admitted that you've had inappropriate conversations with him. They were gay conversations. Just like you just sat over there with that YouTuber talking about his sexuality, which what the does that have to do with you? Nothing. Straight man. Talking about his OnlyFans, all of that. Well, he got certain pictures on there and stuff like that. What that were? Why is this coming up? Ain't this supposed to be a bunch of allegations? This is the confrontation, right? You're still doing it now. So it makes it easier for me to believe LaVontae when those same conversations, you just had it on live. You just doing it. What, yesterday, first today? But LaVontae's lying. No, he's not. And you literally say out of your own mouth, I've had inappropriate conversations with him. What's more inappropriate of a conversation to have with a 17-year-old, especially sex? Were y'all sitting over there talking about murder? Because that's inappropriate. Plotting on somebody's life, yeah, very inappropriate. Planning any crime, inappropriate. Okay, if you weren't planning a crime, if you're saying that the conversations were inappropriate conversations you knew you shouldn't have been having, they were all geared towards sex. Whew. Shout out to Tasha Gary. She says, I believe he did it. He used his faith as a way to get these little boys. It's weird that he had a house full of little boys. Very weird. So only boys had hard lives. Just his preference. Big dots. I'm not disagreeing with a word that you just said. I'm not disagreeing with a word that you just said. Shout out to Pinky Fat for the super. She says, I'm an empath. Larry did everything he is accused of. Shout out to Pinky. She said you did it. She said you did it. Shout out to Vanessa. She says, anybody can see LR is guilty as sin. He's been exposed, period. And he exposed himself. Like, that's the crazy part about it. That's the crazy part about it. Now, did Tasha K chase him in the streets? Absolutely. Tasha K chased him in the street. But he did this to himself. That's what I said. He and I, now, if he want to have a problem with me, I don't care. I mean, it is what it is. But again, I'm talking to Larry. These are Larry's words. I don't give a damn how anybody else feel about it that wasn't in that goddamn room. I care about how LaVontae feels. Anybody else can suck my, like, hair flip, what he been accused of. So, yeah, hair flip. Like, I literally do not care. Like, where are the receipts? We tired of this. Prove he didn't do it. Because if there were so many receipts out there that he didn't do it, then why is it still being discussed? If it's been proven that he didn't do it. And then you got him live on Patreon, hiding on Patreon, over here exposing himself because of Tasha K. He's trying to run from her, and he giving her a full-fledged exclusive. A full-fledged exclusive. Shout out to Tasha K. Like I said, me and her, I know we need to get down like that. But still at the same time, hey, when you're right, you're right. When you're right, you're right. Real Vibe says, well, they're going to build a case on him after this. Now, that I don't know. But again, if Larry was innocent, I would be right here, live right here, doing the same thing. Like LaVontae, no. From what Larry just said out of his own mouth on multiple platforms here and on another YouTube channel, you're giving guilty, buddy. Even in this conversation, like I said, it gets worse. It gets worse. It does. It gets worse. Let's keep listening.
And because I told information, he was consistently curious about my life and what I have done, particularly with men.
Because that's all you brought up. When he was over there on that other YouTuber's channel the other day, was he bringing up women? Did he ask about any women that had OnlyFans? Did he ask about any women pictures on OnlyFans? Did he ask about any women sexuality? Did he do any of that? No. Sit over there flirting with niggas that don't want you. Two of them. Don't neither one of them want you. Neither one. Like you tried. Sit over there trying to be cute. Failed. Because this is not what you were supposed to be over here trying to be cute. You're supposed to be over here talking about these serious allegations that are against you. That's what you're supposed to be doing. But instead, you want to talk about other people's sexuality and they pictures and all of that. Gross. So if, again, LaVontae was bringing up gay sex or your sexuality or what you do with men and things like that, it's because that's all you brought up. That was the only basis of y'all conversation. End of story. Uh-oh.
And he was very interested in it. So he will always bring it up. I had other relationships in my life and other adjutants who one was like a protector. And he knew all my business. And if he would talk, he would remember me at the altar. I was led to go to the church 2 o'clock in the morning. I called him, have him go with me. And I prophetically felt all of this. Now he's going to remember this. Michael, I told the story. I said, I feel like I'm going to be blamed or put in a situation to where men are going to be saying, and women, that I have been inappropriate with them. I don't like the...
That's guilt. He literally just sat here and said that he had basically like a premonition that people we're gonna say men, and he had to hurry and throw women in, and no, damn woman came forward and said nothing. A damn woman then came forward and said nothing. But he said he had a premonition, basically, that people, men and women, boys and girls, were going to come forward and state that he was doing things to them. What? No, that's called guilt. If you having dreams and all of that, that means that what you've done is torturing you. That's all that is. That's all that word. That doesn't even make any sense. Because if you're not doing these things, it's nothing for you to worry about. Who cares if you had a dream that somebody came forward and says, "So it ain't true. It's a dream. Who cares? You ain't got no powers." And all of a sudden, you just knew that this was going to happen? No. Tasha K got you backed into a wall. That's all that is. Absolutely. Again, shout out to Tasha K. Like I said, it might have started out of spite, but oh well. She's on to something. She is. I'm rocking with Tasha at this point. LaVontae, I believe you. I believe him. Because of Larry. I believe him. Tasha K didn't even have to put the nail in the coffin. He did it himself. Tasha just sat back and just let him come forward and 86 himself. Tasha didn't have to cancel him. You're doing it all by yourself. Can't blame Tasha for this. Sorry. This all you, player.
The culture of this ministry. I don't like the way...
Hold on, I'm going to rewind that so y'all can hear again. So y'all can hear that for the people that's just getting here.
Where men are going to be saying, and women, that I have been inappropriate with them. I don't like the culture of this ministry. I don't like the way things are. I'm too close and too connected to the people. And now this is in the year of 2000, and we were in Murchison Road. So this is before we moved to, and I was being tormented by dreams and feelings. And so I
tormented by dreams of feelings, dreams and feelings, that someone was going to come out and say these things about you. Who? Tasha? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? That sounds like a guilty conscience to me. It sounds like you feel guilty for things that you have done. That's what that sounds like. That don't even make sense. Like, do y'all hear him? Wow. Wow. Like a man saying, wow, wow, wow. Wow. I'm like, oh, wow. Oh, wow. Let's keep listening. Let's keep listening.
I took him with me. This little short guy that was in church. Y'all knew his name. I ain't gonna call his name. And he was always with me. And he remembers that we talked extensively about that. But I knew I was probably in the future God would do that kind of stuff all the time. So yeah, that was by this time 2010. Just so you know, Lisa, but I already told you. There were when he had time. He was run to my house when he was staying in the house with Benson and them, and Kendall was coming over there to do my feet, or Benson was coming. I think that time he was pulling my neck, the decompression. I've always had these.
It's all, and that's another thing I noticed too. It's like, why was there always men coming to touch on you? I mean, like, if I go to a massage parlor and I want a man to work on my back or my feet or whatever, that means that I literally prefer a man. I like a man's touch. So I want a man to touch on me. And then you have the people that don't mind. They could be a man or a woman, who cares? As long as they massage me right and then get the kinks and stuff that, you know, where I hurt. That's all that matters. And then you have the ones that have a preference, you know? So he is explaining whichever man that day came, because he's named multiple men that came to rub on his feet and back, you know, and all of that stuff. So when Tasha K is live stating that, you know, he loved massage, you know, she's not lying. I'm like, she's telling the truth. And he's saying this out of his own mouth. So it's like everything that Tasha is saying, you are giving her validation. You are assisting her. Literally. It's like, are you against Tasha or are you for her? Because everything that she said, you pretty much check. She said this, yep, that happened. Check. It's like you checking everything off the list. And you checking the list twice. I'm like, this is crazy. This is a girl.
Problem since I jumped off this 12-foot thing and a little bit of track from running track. And he will run. I didn't know this. I was told this after all of this, that he would, if Vincent or Kendall were trying to come to my house, he will get up, grass up, and run to my house to get there first. And then because he didn't want he didn't like other people being around me. So, but I didn't know that. I didn't know none of that. I did.
You absolutely did. You did know that, Larry, because again, these men that were around Larry wanted Larry's attention. Why would they be around him if they didn't? And you knew that, Larry. It's no different than having children. The same thing. I was live the other day over here coming for Burnt Gap, and I had my daughter come in the room. When I gave my daughter a hug and went out and we talked real quick on the live, all of my other kids came to the door. They all wanted some love too. Jealous. Like, oh, well, she ain't special. Why come she come back there? I want to come back there. I love you too. So you're lying. You had no idea that these men were jealous when it came to each other over you. You're lying. You knew. That's why you're talking about it. Because you knew. Now you a victim. Oh, I had no idea all of these men that I have around me, living in my house around me, rubbing on me, you know, all of this stuff. I had no idea it was a competition. Mighty convenient. Mighty convenient. Why would it not have been? Anybody that's around somebody is going to fish for attention. If, again, these people are around you, what are they around you for? Why do you just have random boys and men around? Why? And you didn't give the females none of that energy. None of it, to where you treated them special and kind of like, you know, it's all boys. But we just posted that's it. You sit here having premonitions of people coming forward, stating things about you, that you've been inappropriate with them and all of that. You're guilty. You're not on here saying that LaVontae is lying like you've been saying since 2019. Now you're over here talking about something. It did happen. It just wasn't me. You think any receipt that you and your people come out with, you're a liar. There will be nothing that comes out of his mouth that I believe. You are a liar, Larry. Your own words. You can't negate your own words. You can't fight your own words. If it's a lie, you told it. If it's a lie, you told it. Absolutely. Shout out to Daphne, Larry Phoebe Howell. I cannot, girl. You telling me. Ooh, girl, I cannot. Let's keep listening.
I did not know when I would leave the house when we was all stand together in 2009 and 3216, and then Grace Park in the first part of 2009. I did not know he was putting on my clothes. I did not know he was mimicking me. I did not know that he was telling the people at the school that I was his father, his blood father, his real father. I didn't know that. I did not know.
So the same person you was taking shopping to buy him clothes, underwear, having them try to underwear on for you, all of that. You had no idea that these people were looking up to you as a father figure. Him dressing like you, role model is what that's giving. I want to be like you. I want to do what you do in life. No different than a son looking up to his father. But you didn't know none of that, which is weird because why were they around you in the first place if you weren't a father figure? What were you babysitting? You weren't babysitting. You weren't. They were living with you. If I babysit my niece or nephew, they don't live here. I'm babysitting. Meaning there's a pickup and a drop off and a pickup time. No, they were around you and their mothers trusted you. Again, you were a pastor. A good man is what they felt. So that's why they trusted you. And again, Larry does give that impression. He does seem like a very good man. He does. He seems like a great person. He does. But then when you get to know him a little bit, that changes. It absolutely does. So, because it changed with me. Because again, I don't know Larry. I don't talk to him. We don't have each other's phone, nothing. We don't DM and I've asked Larry one question in his DM and it was have a conversation outside of social media because it was a serious conversation. It wasn't, no, because I don't know him and I'm not a clout chaser. I'm a lone wolf. I do this all by myself. I don't need any assistance, none. I don't want no mentees. I don't want a mentor. I don't want any of that. I'll pass. I'm doing just fine. Absolutely. So here, Flip. So again, now you didn't know that I didn't know he was wearing my clothes and dressing like me and all of that. Yes, you did. Oh my God.
That he was telling people I'm going to be buying him a car and me and him going to be going on trips. I wasn't even that person to do that. Then I go on trips now, take folk. I don't know where any of that is coming from. And $60. There were conversations and things that we would have about what he wanted to do with his life that I know was inappropriate. And so I would try to insert myself in between what it was that he said that he wanted to do. I was a Captain Save a Hope with everybody.
So at this point in time, Larry is stating, for the people that don't know, I'm getting a headache. It's just all of these lies and backtrack. It's just like, oh my God. So on Unwind with Tasha K, the interview that she did with LaVontae, because I already don't feel good. And it's like he's literally just like making me nauseous. So on the interview with Unwind with Tasha K that she did with LaVontae, I'm getting really triggered. Like legit. He is like literally triggering me. Like I am so serious. Like I'm so serious. Anyways. So LaVontae says on Unwind with Tasha K that Larry had him dance and whatnot. And since he couldn't dance, he wanted to dance, he just twirled around. So Larry is stating here that LaVontae wanted to dance. He wanted to strip. And Larry came in between that because Larry was a Captain Save-A-Ho. So he knew LaVontae wanted to strip, which gives you even more motive to ask LaVontae to dance for you. Even more incentive to do so. So you are sitting here again in our face, telling us that you did this to this man. just like it's just so triggering. Like going through this myself, and a person literally looking me in my face and telling me that they did not do this to me. It's what it's given. So I can understand LaVontae. It's very frustrating knowing what happened to you, and somebody's trying to take that away from you because of an image, not because it didn't happen, not because they didn't do it, because they're trying to save face. Because what happened to you is not more important than their image. Who cares what happened to you, is what he said. My image, my church, my gathering, my following is 10 times more important than what I did to you. Suck it up. Move on. I did. It's what it's given. It's disgusting. You are literally sitting here pivoting off of Tasha K's interview. So if you knew LaVontae wanted to dance, and you knew that you were going to intervene because you didn't want him to do it, why wouldn't you have him dance and give him $60? Why wouldn't you? It's up your alley. It's disgusting. Just like, man.
So I was trying to
listen to that again. I tried to infiltrate. So you tried to convince him not to be a stripper. Don't strip out there. Strip for me. You ain't got to go do it out there. You can do it here. You can do it right here. Stand up.
He wanted to do with his life that I know was inappropriate. And so I would try to insert myself in between what it was that he said that he wanted to do. I was a Captain Save a Hope with everybody. So I was trying to insert during that time I would go get people out the club, off the strip pole, and insert myself to abort that.
So he tried to insert himself into LaVontae wanting to dance, basically, or whatever he wanted to do, and try to avert his attention from that and onto him. You ain't got to go out there and do that. You can do that here. He tried to save people from the strip poles and take them off the poles and bring them into his house and whatnot before. It's what is given, the tea here. So again, you're not saying anything that LaVontae didn't say. He said you had him strip for you. He said that he turned around for you. He said that he laid down and you did certain things to his body. You put body parts of his into your mouth without his consent. He didn't even realize that you were already doing it. Shock to system. How he explained it. Just like, ugh. This is his own words. This ain't Tasha K wrapping something up, making a lie. This is his own words. Let's see Larry's team explain all this shit. Since y'all got the answer for everything, explain this. He ain't coming out here acting like he don't know what Tasha K talking about. Like he don't know what LaVontae talking about. That's not what's going on. This is not a bystander. This is him, the accused. This is crazy.
But at the same time, I began to see in 2009 and was creeped out. And that's when I pulled the, asked my then adjutant to come with me to the church in the middle of the night. Something just felt wrong. And it was obsession. I'm clear on that now, but I didn't see that then. And I wouldn't believe that he was a different person away from me because it would just be me and him. And so he was using everything that I was, that I had and did, and somehow or another, it's something psychological that happened.
Yeah, it's called molestation. How you the victim? How you turning this on a 17-year-old? How you the victim? Now, this obsession and then this and then. The only obsession here is you and young men. You and teenagers. That's the only obsession I see. They were teenagers, young, impressionable. When you care about somebody, when you have a love for someone, you'll do anything to make them happy. And when you're young, you're extremely naive. So a lot of things that are going on that you don't particularly, it may feel wrong, but you can't place that as wrong. And why would it be? He's a pastor. Why would anything that's going on here be wrong? He care about me. He like a father. He never hurt me. He never hurt me. I'm going to do anything in my power to make him feel good. Whatever I need to do to keep him happy, like he does with me, with other things, looking out for me, taking me places, making sure that I'm clean, got on clean clothes, going back and forth to school, all of that. I'm going to make sure that he has all of those things. And then it's the promises. Labor, you have a track record in buying people things. Even your ex. Were those boobs silenced? What? The BBL or whatever you paid for, what the Coach bag, the bags, what was that? Shh. Because again, where are we at? 7.9 mark. This same person, this same woman, was here defending you.
So it is just so much to take in.
Ex-wife Lisa.
Because it's a lie. Like Reid had never been by himself. Never. We were married all the way up until 2007. LaVontae was born in 1990, so that makes him 17. And if I'm in the picture, that is not happening. So what are you talking about? I'm like, and then they try to paint the narrative, oh, she wasn't there. I was only gone for 2 years. And when I came back, me and Reid was together. So I'm trying to figure out. And then when it wasn't me, he was engaged to Jennifer, and he was engaged to somebody else, and she was overseas. So he was doing a whole lot of traveling and all those things. Because when he called me, he was in London. So I'm like, so what are you talking about? None of this. Reid was never by himself. He always had his adjutant with him or Mako. He has never been by himself with nobody.
So
I'm trying to figure out, what I'm saying is there was no room there for none of that to happen. None.
Well, to LaVontae's point, I never went nowhere by myself, but when I was home, I always stayed up in the room, as I still do now.
So she came on there and lied for you, and you literally derailed her entire lie. So did she come over here and lie for free, or did you drop some off of her Cash App, drop a bag off, a purse off before she? Because I'm confused. Didn't y'all talk before? If y'all spoke before, why would she come on here and say that, and then you completely debunk everything she said? Like, if you had a prior conversation, then, and she is a liar, and she was there. So if somebody that was present just lied, told a complete bull-faced lie, why do people think I'm going to believe anybody else from Larry's team? Especially if they wasn't there. Didn't even know him when these allegations happened. Weird. Notice how this woman does not speak after. She doesn't say another word because she's a liar. I'm sure she's sitting there looking at him like, I came here to exonerate you. And now you're going to sit here and say I'm a liar? Because there's so many words. That's what he said. Oh, no, to LaVontae's point, you can't see him call LaVontae a liar and say that we were never alone together. We were. She just said there was no way. Now, what'd she say? Somebody that was present? Somebody that was there? What did she say?
By himself with nobody.
That's
so I'm trying to figure out, what I'm saying is there was no room there for none of that to happen. None. Reid was never by himself. He always had his adjutant with him or.
Okay. So if his ex-wife, somebody that was present during this stuff that was going on, lied, why would I believe anybody else? How do we find out she was a liar? Larry, not Tasha. Larry. I would love to see Larry's team clean this up. Hurry up. What y'all waiting for? Clean this up. Again, like I said, If I'm gonna be proving anything, Larry gonna do it because this is a conversation between me and Larry. These are his words. But let's get back into it. Let's get back to where we were.
Person away from me because it would just be me and him. And so he was using everything that I was, that I had and did, and somehow or another, it's something psychological that happened. That where he
I'll say it again, the M word is what happened.
Placed me. And these stories that he is telling, that is not the truth of them stories. And I repeat, that was not me. We had.
Not it didn't happen. He said those truth that there's the girl.
That where he placed me. And these stories that he is telling, that is not the truth of them stories. And I repeat, that was not me.
So he's not saying it didn't happen. He said the stories aren't true. The only part about what's not true about it is that I'm not the person that did it. So then you know that it happened. If you didn't do it, then you know who did. But you are still choosing to protect that person, although LaVontae is not blaming anybody else. He's blaming you. So it would be very important to name who said person is. Girl, crazy.
We had real personal conversations that I should not have had, in my opinion, if I knew who he was, but I didn't know who he was.
How are you excusing having inappropriate sexual conversations with a 17-year-old? His fault. If I would have known who he was, if I would have known that he was going to open his mouth, if I would have known that he wasn't going to leave what happened between me and him, I would have never did it. That's all that's saying, Larry. That's all that's saying, Larry. You're literally sitting here admitting that you are having inappropriate conversations with a teenager. You are 28 years old. What does a 28-year-old got to say to a 17-year-old besides hi and bye? But that's his fault. You were the adult. You don't get to take half accountability. You're taking accountability that you're having inappropriate conversations with a teenager, not an adult. It's still creepy. It's still perverted. It's still all of those things. That's still predatorial. Where's your routine receipts about you not being a predator sitting here talking about you was having inappropriate sexual conversations with a 17-year-old? Girl, it's too much. It's too much. Again, shout out to Tasha K because she's on to something. She is. I'm going to be watching every episode. Every episode. I'm damn near about to subscribe to Tasha K Live. Because girl.
And those conversations took place when they moved back into my house in 2009 when they were living in Grace Park. I really hate that I allowed him close to me. I'm not sorry for having a relationship with him. I have a relationship with everybody. But I want to say this. Because of dealing with...
You're not sorry for having a relationship with him? You sure? What? This person that's basically about to ruin your life, although you ruined his, from what it sounds like. What is going on here? What is going on here? What is going on here, Larry? How is it this man's fault? He was 17. I'm just going to press play. Stop taking this so personal.
Like that, these young guys would develop with me strange connections and will fight over me. I didn't know that.
these guys, they make the relationships. Let's say that again.
That I allowed him close to me. I'm not sorry for having a relationship with him. I have a relationship with everybody. But I want to say this. Because of dealing like that, these young guys will develop with me strange connections and will fight over me. I didn't know that. I remember this.
Yes, you did. And I'm going to show you how he did. Listen, keep listening.
There's one guy who was transgender. And I remember trying to tell him to masturbate because he was so sexually active. But because he was a bottom, which then I didn't have this knowledge.
Why are you telling people to do anything with their body? You knew they fought over you because of attention. It's no different than children. So having a bunch of teenagers or young men in your house, there's just the smallest things can turn into a big one. The smallest things can turn into a big one. If you got these 4 or 5, however many, standing in the house with you, and you go take one shopping and you buy them some shoes and stuff like that, and they come back, they fresh to death, stuff like that, you don't think the other one's gonna feel no type of way? You don't feel that way? I find that very confusing. If you don't, shout out to Armand. They say Armand is live and he just gave you a positive shout out. Shout out to Armand Wiggins. He already knows the love is mutual. I love him down. Shout out to Armand. And yeah, I love him. Shout out to him. I love him down. And shout out to Tasha K, because you also saw y'all said in the chat that she shared my live. So shout out to her for that. Again, like I said, I have no dog in the fight. Tasha K will tell you that we have no relationship. We don't talk. We don't do any of that. So she felt the need to share my live. Shout out to her. I appreciate that. I hope I'm Miss B, because I want to slaughter your name. She said, he is a mess, girl. He is all over the place. And again, shout out to Armand Wiggins, love you down. And shout out to Tasha K. I appreciate you sharing my live. Shout out to Just, she says, keep playing and Shine, it gets worse. I know. A lot worse. But so he knew that these men were fighting over him. Like, he absolutely did. So he needs to stop making it seem like. And then there's behind the scenes conversations. So if one person is feeling some type of way about another person, if he's stating that they would run to do favors for me before the other ones could do it because they would get so jealous. They didn't want to. So you knew you were feeding that energy. No different than allegedly R. Kelly. When R. Kelly would treat certain girls certain ways and then let other ones be locked up for days, I guess, stuff like that. That's why the girls would, bump heads. Nature Boy, he would do the same thing. He would isolate some people and make the ones that he felt were, doing his bidding. He would definitely give them certain things that he wasn't giving other people. So you knew that was happening. That's what I'm saying. You're such why lie? See, I would understand if he was saying maybe they felt like it was a competition because certain ones would do this and certain ones would do that. So it was like they were all competing for my attention at the same time. So that I would understand. But you're using them against each other, Larry, is what it's giving. You will play on their emotions and make them want to be at your beck and call. Because then when you will request them to do certain things like, I don't know, taking off their clothes and spinning around in front of cameras and stuff like that, they're more inclined to do it. Because they feel like, again, young and naive. They feel like if I do this, then I'm on his side. He's on my side. We on the same team. He's going to do this and do that for me. He's going to, so they'll just do certain things, whatever you're requesting, even if they don't necessarily want to do it or understand it, just to keep you happy, Larry. Is what it's giving to keep you happy. So they'll go as far as basically you want them to, as long as you're happy. Stop it. Let's not do that. Let's not do that.
That's the debate because he was so sexually active, but because he was a bottom, which then I didn't have this knowledge. He's like a woman, so a woman doesn't jack off. She sometimes insert her vulva, a clitoris, a little clitoris play. And that's how he was. But he had to stick large objects in his anus. He liked fisting. So I couldn't understand why jacking off did not work for him, but he explained it. I said, oh, he said, I gotta have something in me. So I got so many.
What is this person telling you all this for?
He's like a woman. So a woman doesn't jack off. She sometimes insert her vulva, a clitoris, a little clitoris play. And that's how he was. But he had to stick large objects in his anus. He liked fisting. So I couldn't understand why jacking off did not work for him, but he explained it. I said, oh, he said, I gotta have something in me. So I got so many stories.
Shout out to K Bragg. She says he was playing them off of each other. I agree. Like players do women. Yes. They wanted to be the main chick, girl. But he did it with children. Just sick. They were all fighting to be the bottom chick. To be the bottom dollar. Shout out to you. Thank you for the super sticker. Shout out to Arkelian for the super sticker as well. I couldn't agree more. I think the exact same thing. The exact same thing. You were playing them off of each other. You absolutely were playing them off of each other. Yes, he does need help. He absolutely does. Shout out to she says, oh Lord, why would he tell us that? Great question for him. Great question for him. I'm like, what does this have to do with anything? What does this have to do with LaVontae? Like, what? And why are they telling you this why are they telling you this if nothing like that is going on? Because those are the type of conversations that you like to have with boys. Like, and then he says that he didn't know what a bottom was. How if you're a top? If you know what it is to be a top, then a bottom is the opposite. Like, duh. So I find that weird. Like, how did you not, like, you even lying about stuff like as stupid as that, as dumb as that. You don't take anything in your booty. So it means you're a top. An oral top is what you would be. But you didn't know that until he told you? Bottoms aren't women. There's plenty of bottoms that still masturbate, that still do that. Like, now a trans person, that's something completely different. But like literal trans, he wasn't pre-op, none of that. Like, why does this matter? Again, what does this have to do with LaVontae? Doesn't. Nothing. Ugh. One more time. I'm just like, why?
Me. We had real personal conversations that I should not have had, in my opinion, if I knew who he was, but I didn't know who he was. And those conversations took place when they moved back into my house in 2009 when they were living in Grace Park. I really hate that I allowed him close to me. I'm not sorry for having a relationship with him. I have a relationship with everybody. But I want to say this. Because of dealing like that, these young guys will develop with me strange connections and will fight over.
A shout out to Janora. She says, to see you and TK putting y'all differences aside in agreement, Larry Concho MF days. Thank you so much for the super sticker, and shout out to you. Again, I will say, I do feel that it did start off a little, out of spite with Tasha. But Tasha is not wrong. I don't feel like Tasha is wrong. I don't. If Tasha is truly going to get this victim story out there. More power to her. I'm not knocking Tasha for that. I don't give a damn that she don't like Larry. So I don't care. So I mean, if people want to take it as that, if they want to focus on the drama over the victim, people could go right ahead. But I'm not one of those people. Again, I don't care how it started with Tasha K and Larry Reid. What matters is what the victims have to say. And I believe LaVontae. And Tasha K is the platform that brought LaVontae out to where this was some sense was made of it, to where Larry Reid came out himself and put his own foot in his mouth. His own, he did that, not Tasha. So he don't get to blame that on her. And then they're going to sit on other platforms and not take it serious. Again, what was that YouTuber that did the conversation? I'm not blaming him for what? These allegations aren't against him. I'm not blaming Armand. The allegations are not against Armand. If anybody was supposed to take that serious, it was supposed to be Larry Reid. He went over there and played and flirted with those men instead of actually attack these allegations to try to make some sense of it. So how are people mad at the YouTubers whose channel that it was on and trying to come for like Armand and for what? If anybody should take this serious, it should be Larry. If y'all mad at anybody, you got to be mad at Larry. He was supposed to take the allegations are against him. Armand gonna be fine. This ain't his life. And it ain't the YouTuber's life that was there. And neither one of them are really like detail on the situation. So why would we expect that from them? That's why Larry should have went to his mentee's channel. Him and his mentee should have linked up and did this, because then it would have been taken more seriously. Larry did this, clout chasing, trying to deflect. He tried to use Armand and that YouTuber to sit down with them together and take the attention off what Tasha K is doing. And it did not work. That's all he did, was went over there and tried to deflect. Let me pay Armand or whatever and this YouTuber, and let's sit down with them, because both of them are bigger influencers. They have a big audience. Let's set them down and me sit in the middle of them, and hopefully the attention will avert to what we got going on over here, instead of that LaVontae and Tasha K are getting closer and closer to shutting down his operation. That's all that were. He didn't take it serious at all. So what would people be mad at the content creator or whose platform it was on, or Armand for what? It's not their responsibility. Like, and I don't even care for that YouTuber whose channel that it was on, but I'm not about to cuss him out. Cuss him out for what? He didn't do nothing wrong, if you ask me. Larry Reid had a mission, and he was hoping that sitting down with them will get everybody. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. Look, I'm sitting down with Armand, and I'm over here with the guys. Let's focus on them. Nah, you're still trash, and we're looking right at you. We're looking right at you. He knows where he should have went. That's why it backfired, because God don't like ugly. Like hair flip. Everybody knows CTV been windmilling for him, and that's where he should have took his bald head ass. Over to him and Conscious should have met up and did this, so that people can take it serious. Now the damage is done. So everybody that has been defending Larry, you look dumb. You look dumb. Based off of what Larry said himself. Armand said on that channel, something happened in that house. Larry agreed, but said it wasn't him. That's crazy. That's crazy. And then people trying to make it seem like Armand and that YouTuber set Larry up. No, they didn't. And y'all know I don't care for that other YouTuber. The one who, Voldemort, he who shall not be named, says I'm clout chasing. Okay, girl. Yeah, I don't like him. But I'm unbiased. And I'm for what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. Armand nor that YouTuber were wrong for that show. Can't nobody say that Armand and that YouTuber sat over there and didn't take that situation seriously. It's not their situation. It's not. This does nothing for them either way. And they ain't windmilling for him. That YouTuber ain't windmilling for Larry, and neither is Armand. Neither one. So what they so wrong about? Just saying. Just saying. So I'm not about to cuss him out and oh, he should have did this. He should have had better questions. He should have did No, he shouldn't have done none of that. No, he did exactly what he was supposed to do. Go live. That's all he had to do. That was his own job, was to go live. He had to do nothing else. Okay, but will you still sit with him? No. I mean, I don't. He's not on my radar at all whatsoever. I have friends. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. There's no beef. I just don't like him. It's that simple. Only he can change my mind. Nobody else. No subscriber will ever change my mind about him. He would have to do that. Here, flip. So, yeah, no. Gross. Lori says that YouTuber did his job. I agree, Lori Bankers. He did. He did what he was supposed to do. He did what he was supposed to do. Alana says, why did Larry do the interview anyway? Good question. Good question. I feel like Larry should have just went over there and just hung out with him. Honestly. Because he doesn't owe anybody, technically, an explanation besides the person that is accusing him. So he could have just went over there and just hung out and whatnot. Why did it have to be named the confrontation, whatnot? Larry, that's his fault. That doesn't have anything to do with anybody else. It's that simple. It's Larry. And that's it. He went over there, it got egg all over his face. And it wasn't because of the YouTubers that were there, Armand and the other YouTuber. It was because of Larry. Again, I'll repeat. The thing to take from that interview, Armand said something happened in that house, right? Larry agreed and said that he didn't do it. But it wasn't me. Yeah, I'm agreeing that yes, something did happen in that house. But it wasn't me. The only reason I could believe that Larry did the interview was to deflect and to get people to not pay attention to him. But it's like the elephant in the room. So his allegations have to come up in some way, shape, or form. But the whole thing wasn't going to be about it. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because again, Armand or that YouTuber are not that invested in what's going on with Larry. They're not that invested. So like a deep, and then again, that's not because if that was on Armand's platform, that situation would have been completely different. We would have actually got somewhere if Armand did it on his platform, because Armand is surgical with the interviews. He's very good at it. So that would have been different. But going over there, all three of them and whatnot, that ain't Armand's show. Like, so, I mean, he's still basically carried, but that's not his show. So again, I feel like no responsibility is on him. And I can't even blame the person whose platform it was on, because that's not his responsibility either. It's neither one of those YouTubers' responsibility to exonerate Larry. Larry's responsibility is to exonerate him. They don't have to do that. And how can they with no receipts? Because again, the rapid test results and stuff like that, Larry sent all that to Armand. Armand didn't pull none of that up for what? LaVontae didn't say nothing about Larry giving him anything. I don't see how that's a receipt. I mean, it is what it is. How was that a receipt? He didn't accuse me of that. So that's the only reason I can see him doing the interview is to deflect so that people can look on to something else. We don't, I mean, if he wanted to, we could, but I just don't see what we have to talk about. As far as I'm concerned, I believe LaVontae. I believe every word that LaVontae has said because of Larry. So, I mean, we could, but again, I really don't. He's not changing my mind. LaVontae could change my mind, but Larry has no power. As far as I'm concerned, you're guilty. You're guilty. Like, he played himself with a Patreon and going to sit over there. Played himself. Everybody that has been defending him, all the channels that have been defending him, it is all in vain. It is all in vain. I don't care what anybody say, because I'm not arguing about it, but Larry. I promise you. I don't give a damn who say what about Sean. Oh, well, it will be ignored. I don't give a damn. I'm not arguing with you when he's sitting here saying all of this and you ain't explaining it. If you're not debating, negating what I'm stating about what he said out of his mouth, Not Tasha K throwing things in people's mouth and Tasha K making stuff up. He's talking about suing Tasha K. We don't care. So, always trying to throw some money at something. Okay. Tasha don't care. Like, he tried it. That's what I say. He should have never had that case dismissed against LaVontae. He wanted that case dismissed because he already know it ain't going to come out how he wanted to. He already know. Especially if he's sitting there talking like this. If he sit on a stand talking like this. I'm Team LaVontae. I believe him 100%. Because of Larry. If Larry would not have done this Patreon, and if he would not have went over there and said what he said on that YouTuber's platform, I would still be, I'm sitting this out. Like, I'm just watching, just like everybody else, collecting, seeing what's going on. But now I feel like I'm Team Tasha and LaVontae with this situation. I am Team Tasha and LaVontae. I don't care who don't like it. Check me. Ooh, you're mad. Like, because of Larry. Larry put his own foot in his mouth. I need some explanations. Where are the receipts that Larry Reid has been saying since 2019 that LaVontae was telling the truth, but the allegations were false against him? What LaVontae is saying is true, but I didn't do it. No, Larry has been saying since these allegations came out that he had nothing to do with this. LaVontae is lying on him. That's all he said. He never said anything of the regard to what he's saying now. And he done said it multiple times. He said it multiple times in his Patreon, and then he went over there to that YouTuber's channel. He said it over there too. Like Armand said, I believe something did happen in that house. And Larry said, yes, but it wasn't me. But I didn't do it. What am I? Because that wasn't the original story. Again, Larry does not get to change his story. If LaVontae does not get to change his story, LaVontae has to be a perfect victim, then Larry needs to be a perfect predator. Period. Period. You do not get to be sloppily accused and be sloppy while being accused. But the victim got to be perfection. The story has to be the same from beginning to end. You can't forget anything. You can't just remember nothing. All of it got to be the same. And if you change anything, oh, there you go, Larry. There's your vindication. He's sitting over here changing everything. What? Can LaVontae get a salute? Because I'm gonna give him one. I'm gonna give him one. Like, girl, bye. Like, yeah, I'm not about to do that. Like I said, as far as I'm concerned, Larry guilty as. And I said to his face, you're guilty. You're guilty. I know you're kind. I do. And hearing LaVontae's whole story, because Tasha interviewed him for hours, I listened to the whole thing. I did. So listening to Larry's Patreon, you are literally pivoting off a lot of things that man said. So it's like, he's telling the truth. Of course, you as the accused aren't about to sit here and say you did it. I don't expect you to. Even if you got found guilty of it and was thrown behind bars, you the type of person that'll still say you didn't do it. So you admitting it, us getting the truth, never happening. It's your guilty conscience that's speaking because you want to be a good person. You want to be a good man. But you already know what to admit. What you admit is basically media and social suicide. You already know. It's closed curtains if you come forward and state that that man is telling the truth. Because that's basically what he's saying in this Patreon. He's telling the truth, but he ain't telling the whole story. No. He is telling the whole story. He's just not telling your version of it. Because there's always going to be multiple versions of a story and then the truth. So you're telling your part now, and I'm connecting the dots with what LaVontae has said, pinning them together to find the truth in the middle. You're guilty. I don't give a damn about no rapid test, about no this address and that address and this house wasn't built yet and Fact, LaVontae lived with you. Fact, LaVontae was alone with you. Fact, LaVontae has stated that you have harmed him in certain ways, that you've done sexual things to him. Fact, he ain't took none of it back. but I'm supposed to believe him. What's to believe? You said yourself that something happened to the boy. So even if you didn't do it, you know who did, and you still ain't do nothing about it. That doesn't make you innocent because I didn't do it, but I know who did. And that's as much as I'm willing to say. I know who did it. It wasn't me, but that's as much as I'm willing to say. What? Where can you find the audio? Right here.
I mean, I didn't used to fulfill voids. I did know who he was or who he could be and had some fears about that because of how he was. And he also told me about his cousin Mike and his former pastor, which is his mama's pastor, because he was playing the drums over there, had exposed him to some things, maybe a strip club, maybe it was. I can't remember, don't quote me on that. And some girl that he had a relationship with. So when he came to me, this is why when somebody said that he said that I asked him to dance and turn around and show me da-da-da. Number one, and I should repeat again, I shared things with him I should not have shared. And because I told information, he was consistently curious about my life and what I have done, particularly with men. And he was very interested in it. So he will always bring it up. I had other relationships in my life and other adjutants who one was like a protector. And he knew all my business. And if he would talk, he would remember me at the altar. I was led to go to the church 2:00 in the morning. I called him and had him to go with me. And I prophetically felt all of this. Now he's going to remember this. Marco, I told the story. I said, I feel like I'm going to be blamed or put in a situation where men are going to be saying, and women, that I have been inappropriate with them. I don't like the culture of this ministry.
So there you hear him prophesizing that guilt, that people are going to come forward and state that he has done inappropriate things with them, boys and girls, men and women, allegedly. I mean, who prophesizes that? Who prophesizes themselves committing crimes? Weird. But let's get into him stating that LaVontae is not lying about what happened to him. Larry's not the one that did it. Let's get into that.
To somebody else, and she was overseas, so he was doing a whole lot of traveling and all those things. Because when he called me, he was in London. So I'm like, so what are you talking about? None of this. Reid was never by himself. He always had his adjutant with him or Marco. He has never been by himself with nobody. So I'm trying to figure out, what I'm saying is there was no room there for none of that to happen.
That is his ex-wife trying to exonerate him, Lisa, talking and stated there was no room for anything like that to have happened. LaVontae and you weren't alone. You were always with someone. You were never alone with LaVontae. But Larry speaks in LaVontae's defense and states that we were alone together. Ex-wife, I don't know what you're talking about. Get into it.
None.
Well, to LaVontae's point, I never went nowhere by myself. But when I was home, I always stayed up in the room as I still do now. And just like now, everybody comes one by one into my room.
And just like now, everybody comes to my room one by one.
And asked me, engaged me, talked to me, however. So we were by ourselves because there were things that he would do and nobody would be around.
Larry just said that LaVontae would come in his room and there were things that we would do when nobody was around.
Ever. So we were by ourselves because there were things that he would do and nobody would be around. Now, what I'm not
like strip. Where's this team? I'm gonna need them to come clear this up. He said that LaVontae will come into his room and do things. He's talking about LaVontae.
And asked me, engaged me, talked to me, however. So we were by ourselves because there were things that he would do and nobody would be around.
There were things that he, LaVontae, would do and nobody would be around. That is a guilty conscience. That's being too honest. Because you're being accused of doing things with this man alone when he was 17. Okay? Engage, things that he would do. What? Where's his team at? Where's the receipts? Proving something of the other. Girl, keep listening though.
Now, what I'm not going to do, and I want to be very clear about this, and this is on purpose, and this is the reason why, I want to be very clear about this. What he is touting and saying that I did was not me. That's all I'm going to say.
He's not saying that it didn't happen to LaVontae. He's saying it was not him. So that means that, again, either he knows who did it or he did it, because LaVontae is not stating anybody else did anything to him. He's saying it was Larry Reid. That's it. That's all. He's not blaming anybody else. But now Larry Reid is. And allegedly the person that he's blaming, why he won't say this person's name, is because it was his elder pastor. Allegedly, is what is being said in the streets. That his ex-pastor actually did this to LaVontae, whom is now deceased and cannot speak for themselves. So when you're being, again, why hasn't he been blaming this on his deceased pastor? Hurry up. I'm gonna need his team to come forward, because I don't attack people. Anybody that believes Larry, you are entitled to that. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to yell at you. I'm not going to come for you. I'm not going to do any of those things because you're entitled to your opinion. I'm not trying to take it from you. And nobody's going to take mine. No one's going to take mine. Okay? My opinion off of what Larry said. Okay? Nobody putting no words into his mouth. This is him. He can't blame this on Tasha K. And that's what he has been trying to do. Run around, I'm filing a lawsuit. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Okay, girl. Oh, yeah, we don't care. Just like Tasha don't care, neither do we. Neither do we. But it's mighty convenient that now allegedly a deceased person, someone who can't speak anything, allegedly did this to LaVontae. And the reason why I feel that it's the deceased person is because during this Patreon conversation, the Larry Reid supporters, tell me if I'm lying, Larry told his wife that the reason he left her or made her move out of the church, made her kicked out of the church basically, is because his elder pastor told him to. Mm-hmm. So his elder pastor would tell him to jump. He would say, how high? His elder pastor told him that her being there was preventing him from getting married again, although he gay. So I'm just like, well, he gay. So he don't want no wife, no way. He doesn't want one anyway. So, I mean, what's holding him up is his sexuality. It doesn't have anything to do with, because his pastor told him, she got to go. And Larry just listened, like, oh, okay. Larry also says in this conversation, listen, that they didn't rip him apart. The time they ripped him apart, the church did. The church did. Listen.
Because there were things that he would do and nobody would be around. Now, what I'm not going to do, and I want to be very clear about this, and this is on purpose, and this is the reason why, I'm going to be very clear about this. What he is touting and saying that I did was not me. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it like that. Lisa, I am so sorry. I'm listening to you talk, and I remember, it's like taking me down memory lane because I forgot. But I'm sorry because you say the church broke us up, but I allowed the church to break us up.
He says he allowed the church to break him up. And it had nothing to do with him being gay and her being a whole lesbian. That had nothing to do with it. What that were is that his elder pastor told him to get rid of her. And he did just that. So if he had that much respect for this elder pastor, if he was allegedly doing something to boys or LaVontae, or anything like that, of course, Larry's going to keep his mouth shut because he has so much respect for him.
That's what it was. I didn't know. I didn't know that I was being obsessed over. I did not know that I was being used to fulfill voids. I did know who he was or who he could be.
Great question. Why didn't you report the one who did it? Why don't you say from jump that LaVontae is telling the truth? I'm just not the person that did it. And if I did anything to make him project that energy onto me, I would love to have a conversation with him about it and just be like, look, I'm sorry I wasn't there. I should have done more. I was afraid. I had so much going on, blah, 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 or whatever. Or whatever. That's not what was being, that's not what that were. He said he was innocent. LaVontae lying. LaVontae lying. I don't want to talk about none of that stuff happened. That's what he said. He said nothing about another party until 2023. Bishop Whitehead was just talking about all of this a few months back. Larry didn't say none of this. Larry didn't say none of this. None of Larry's supporters said none of this either. That's how Larry smacked them all in the face. Because this same information, your supporters should be going around with too. Why is this all new? But LaVontae says that I meant to say that, and then all of a sudden his whole story is a lie. Because he remembers something, but it's fine for Larry to forget things and just remember things when people bring things up. Listen.
I know that I was being obsessed over. I did not know that I was being used to fulfill voids. I did know who he was or who he could be and had some fears about that because of how he was. What he is touting and saying now, and just like now, everybody comes one by one into my room and asked me, engaged me, talked to me, however. So we were by ourselves because there were things that he would do and nobody would be around. Now, what I'm not going to do, and I want to be very clear about this, and this is on purpose, and this is the reason why, I want to be very clear about this. What he is touting and saying that I did was not me. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it like that. Lisa, I am so sorry. I'm listening to you talk, and I remember. It's like taking me down memory lane because I forgot.
So he can forget. He can just remember things. But if LaVontae goes on Tasha K's platform and he may have said something because he's really getting in depth with his story or remembering very candidly, and whatnot, he brings something up. He lying. Tasha K added that in there. Tasha K told him to say that. That's a lie. So he lying about the whole thing, y'all. But then Larry get to forget stuff, have selective memory, and all of this stuff. That's just fine. That's just fine. It's because he older. Okay. But let LaVontae have forgotten something or remembered something. He'll lie. But Larry's just fine. Larry can forget what he wants to forget, remember when he wants to remember, say that these things did happen to LaVontae. I'm just not the one who did it. I know exactly who did this to this man, but that's all I'm willing to say. Why wasn't his supporters been going around with this? Yeah. Why weren't you guys saying this? Why weren't you guys going around with the people that support Larry? Yeah, because I want to hear from all y'all. Why weren't you guys going around saying this? Because this is all news to me. This is all news to me, and it's news to a lot of people. Even Tasha K, she was even shocked. She was just like, "Ooh, we got him. We got him." I couldn't agree with her more. Yeah, she is definitely on to something. Yes, she is. I'm watching every PPP episode. I sure am. I'm gonna be right over there because she again is on to something. Like, girl, she definitely is. I'm just saying. She is on to something. Again, shout out to Tasha K, because she is not playing.
But I'm sorry, because you say the church broke us up, but I allowed the church to break us up. That's what it was. I didn't know that I was being obsessed over. I did not.
But you want to know, Linda C says, who is going to put themselves in contempt of court and lie for this man? Listen to this, girl. It's going to blow your mind. Her.
To take in. because you know it's a lie. Like there is no, Reid had never been by himself. Never. We were married all the way up until 2007. LaVontae was born in 1990, so that makes him 17. And you know, if I'm in the picture, that is not happening. So what are you talking about? I'm like, and then they try to paint the narrative. Oh, she wasn't there. I was only gone for 2 years, and when I came back, me and Reid was together. So I'm trying to figure out. And then when it wasn't me, he was engaged to Jennifer, and he was engaged to somebody else, and she was overseas. So he was doing a whole lot of traveling and all those things. Because when he called me, he was in London. So I'm like, so what are you talking about? None of this. Reid was never by himself. He always had his adjutant with him or Mako. He has never been by himself with nobody.
That's
so I'm trying to figure out. What I'm saying is there was no room there for none of that to happen. None.
Well,
her, Lisa, she'll go live for him. And here's another thing too. Larry, because I have to get out here right after I remark, and I really do not feel good. Larry, I noticed while you were talking about this on Patreon, this is another thing that I noticed. When you had that revelation about people coming forward, okay, and alleging that, and lying, allegedly, about you being inappropriate with men and women, why did you go to London right after that? Were you running? Did you come back when you felt the coast was clear? Asking for a friend. Because I find it mighty weird. You have this revelation about somebody coming forward, accusing you of things, having nightmares about it, all type of stuff. And then all of a sudden you go to London? And you stayed a while. Your big mouth ex-lesbian wife just said that. That revelation didn't come after. It was before. You said that. Because you like to put dates and stuff on things. I heard the date. The date was pre-London. It's pre-London, not after. Pre-London. Run much? Just in case I'm happy you're already out of the country, you're good. There will be nothing Larry says that I believe. Shout out to K Bragg. Wifey got quiet because she realized in that moment he did it. Not only did she realize that, I'm sure she felt like a fool. Because she's just like, okay, well, it's with my knowledge, you weren't alone with none of these people. You was always with your Marco or somebody like that. Now all of a sudden you wasn't alone with him? When did this happen? When that were? And she didn't say another word after that. She felt big dumb. And again, she was supposed to be his alibi. Everything she said, Kay, was an alibi. After Larry spoke and said no to to LaVontae's point, so to my victim's point, we were alone together. We were by ourselves. We were. Larry put his own foot in his mouth. Larry is burying himself. Now, did Tasha K is the reason that he put his foot in his mouth? Absolutely. He proved her right. I feel like he proved Tasha right. He did. Because if he would have opened his mouth, the jury would have still been out with me. I would have just been like, girl, I don't know. Because again, even the last live I did, I wasn't sitting over here like, Larry's guilty. I wasn't saying the jury's still out. I'm just like, because I'm fair. You know, I should give people a chance. This ain't the first time we talked about this. It's the second. So yeah, I wasn't over here, oh, Larry, when he opened his own mouth is what made me feel away. I'm like, yeah, I don't believe you. I think that you are a liar. And I think that you did this. I do. 100%. And I'll tell him to his face. Because he's going to be the only one that I argue with. I don't give a damn what anybody else says. So I don't care. This is Larry's battle. Nobody else's. So that will be the only person. If I'm going to go back and forth or anything like that, or have another candid discussion about this on Larry's behalf, it's going to be Larry speaking. I've been saying Larry should go live on his own platform. I've been saying that. You should go live on your own platform and discuss this. Not elsewhere, because that's hiding. What you hiding from? It's like everybody know but you. So it's like, what are you hiding from? Like, just do it. Get it over with. But yeah. So I too thought Larry was innocent until he did the interview with that YouTuber girl. I was like, whoa. I was like, ooh, shout out to Armand. Because that question alone was enough for me. I was just like, wow, you're agreeing? You so innocent, though. Okay, girl. I have to get out of here, y'all. I love y'all so much. If I felt better, I would stay live longer and open up the panel. Again, shout out to Armand for the shout out. Shout out to Tasha K for the shout out. I love y'all. I will be back tomorrow, hopefully, if I feel better. I will definitely be back to come and see my people. But thank you for all of the super stickers, all of the support, all of the super chats, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. I need to go get some rest. I do not feel good. So until the next show, I love you all. Thank you all for your support. Thank you. Until the next show. Flex.